right. Cool. Well, that was an experiment. It happened. I suddenly realized like I should look up because I'm gonna have to add us back into the stream when this countdown is over. Whatever. Hi, welcome to the Matriarchy. It's me, the person with the most locked down, solid, consistent introduction in all the Fandom Menace. I'm here, and with me, as always, is the one and only Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Well, hello.
Yeehaw. So I look like a right mess. I just realized as I'm sitting here right now that I'm like, oh, for those of you who think that I mess with my hair a lot normally, I didn't put any hair product into my hair today, which means that the little bit that I don't have to fuss with usually, which is all this floppy stuff over here from where it's, usually
words.
Haven't had a sleep, guys. So for those of you who tried to be here last night for the live stream, it was canceled very last minute because so one of my cats, Lando, has bladder issues. It's very common in male cats. He started about 3 years ago. He needed surgery for 15 bladder stones. And since then, he's been on continuous fluids. He's on a special diet, and he goes in, periodically to get his urine tested to make sure he's not reforming crystals and stones, etc. It's super fun. I get to give him subcutaneous fluids once a week, which is awesome because I'm needle phobic. So for those who don't know what that means, it means I shove a needle under my cat's skin and hold him there as 100 cc's of fluid pump into his body. And it's great because, again, needle phobic. Every now and then I've accidentally pricked myself with the lancet and then had a vasovagal reaction and nearly thrown up because I am severely needle phobic, as aforementioned. And so anyway, so I'm in the habit of, if I ever catch him in the litter box, of watching my cat pee. I know it seems weird. You're like, you're watching your cat pee? Yes, I watch my cat pee because the last time, it's the same way I caught it this time, was observing him having issues, struggling in the litter box, looking just uncomfortable in the litter box. That was the first one, was the discomfort in the litter box, and then from that it was learning to monitor and then seeing the blood. And because of the habit of monitoring, I caught it as soon as I saw it last night, and we brought him into the emergency animal care, kitty care, and got him some pain medication and stuff, and then got him into the vet today for an x-ray, for a urinalysis, for a culture, for more drugs, and discharge instructions, which will include following up with more drugs, treatment, etc., when we know more. So where we're at now basically is the crystals and the stones that appear to be in there are small enough that they don't appear to be threatening a blockage, which is good, which means with fluids, medication, etc., we should be able to flush those out without having a blockage that will require surgery. So as long as it doesn't get worse, it does not look like surgery will be on the table, but worse is always a possibility. And the culture, the big thing they're checking for is a UTI that would require additional antibiotics and stuff. Of course, one of the things you're always looking for, one that you're always worried about with blood in the urine is, especially he's 7 years old now, he's getting to that middle age in cat years, is other conditions, the dreaded C word, God forbid. And I'm just fucking hoping, thinking now about the timeline and realizing that, 3 years ago we had this as an issue and now it's coming back. That's the timeline for early stages of things like the C word, and just praying that it's not that, because I don't want to lose my kitty. Okay. So sorry guys, I'm falling apart on you, but if all of that shit sounds expensive, you're fucking right, it is. So I just started a GoFundMe, but that's why we're late today. So I apologize for our lateness, but I was getting a GoFundMe set up because I realized there's no universe in which I can keep paying to live and eat myself and make sure my kitty is taken care of. And there's also no universe in which it is in any way acceptable to not give my kitty the care he needs. So, GoFundMe is step one. Step, hopefully the last step is whoring myself out on the streets. But there's a lot we can do.
Don't do that.
My point is, there's a lot of steps in between that, and I don't think I will have to resort to that. But love, send love prayers, thoughts, all the positive vibes work. And if you can support on the GoFundMe, even $1, thank you so much in advance if you can. And if not, anywhere you can share this, where you know people love animals and want to help, would be so appreciated. The amount that I'm hoping to raise is not even going to cover everything I need, but it'll be enough that I can should be able to manage the extra. And then whatever is raised, I just posted the GoFundMe link in the chat. Whatever is raised beyond that, I'm just going to donate to the Humane Society. And so that every penny that's given is going to animals in need. I'm not going to take a cent for myself. I have other financial concerns and whatnot, et cetera. This is not for that. This is not going towards any of that. Those are my own, daily whatevers whatever. This is just everything for this is for Lando, and for, and anything in excess of Lando is for other animals in need. So thank you again so much for anyone who can share this, for all the support and the positive vibes and stuff. For those of you who are animal owners, how what's up, and that we feel about our pets the way people feel about their family members. So thank you. I just wanted to say that. I'll mention it again, probably, and post the link for those people who aren't here right now but may join us as we go on. And again, just thank you so much for anything you can do to help spread the word, and etc. So thank you. That was all. But now on to the Matriarchy. I also did see somebody in the chat said they could not find Shit Pancake's channel. The link is in the description for this video, and it's the Shit Pancake the Cat. I'll post that link too so people can sub to Shit Pancake. We had fun last week where Anna was awesome about getting all you guys out to go sub to Shit Pancake, and then as soon as we ended the stream, we were still in the green room. I went back to check, and YouTube had unsubscribed everyone who had subscribed. So thanks to our efforts, we got his subs back up again after that. But if you did subscribe on last week's Matriarchy, just go back and make sure, because you probably got unsubscribed because YouTube hates Shit Pancake too. So that's how you know YouTube's evil, when it hates on cats. Thank you so much, Jordan Rockwell. I so appreciate that. Just sent a incredibly generous super chat for your fur child. Got your back. Thank you so much. I'm not gonna be able to do this if you guys keep sending super chats like this. I'm just gonna cry more. Let me go read the other super chats too, so I don't start bawling, so we can actually do our show. We have Barney the Nucleosaurus. That's new, right? Is that Nucleus? Was it always Nucleosaurus? Yeah, no, because it was Barney the Wokeosaurus, or the something-osaurus woke. Anyway, we're now Barney the Nucleosaurus. Weeks says, ladies, did you see what the Hollywood elites recently did regarding voting ballots? I did not.
Oh, yeah, they got naked, and they're all the celebrities you don't want to see naked.
Delightful. Was this like a go out and vote effort or something?
I think so. I didn't watch it. I saw the article and I scrolled through it, and I'm like, Henry Cavill and Brad Pitt and Antonio Banderas, all of the men that I would want to see naked, are not fucking in here, so I don't care.
So who gives a crap? That's kind of funny. That's an interesting. That's a very Hollywood take on go out and vote. What are we going to do? We're going to pimp our bodies, the only commodity we know how to sell, in order to try to get you to do the thing we want you to do. It's very, very Hollywood. It's kind of funny, actually. Also, guys, extra important today to press the like button, because you press the like button, it just gets the stream out more, and more people come, more people maybe can help out Lando. So that's all. But I was not aware of that, Barney the Nucleosaurus. So thank you for bringing that bit of entertainment to my mind. The last time I actively sought out a celebrity naked photo shoot was the Eagles offensive line, and it's hilarious. So very, very tastefully done. Very tasteful nudes.
If anyone has naked pictures of Henry Cavill, send them my way or tag me in them. Jesse, I was successful. I finally found a picture that has 2 angles of his feet.
Oh.
Yeah, I was very happy.
Amazing.
He had some cute feet.
I'm really glad. I'm sure you and Tarantino could have a field day talking about that.
Well, no, he likes to do sexual things with feet. I just like to look at them and clean them.
and clean them. Okay. Well, anytime you want to clean my feet, just, come on.
Oh, I totally will. I love giving pedicures.
That's awesome. I've only gone a couple of times. It was one of those things that I just associated growing up as like a girly girl thing. And so I never thought of it. And so I didn't have any of those. I know like people grow up and like they positive associations of spa day, and that's what gets them into like spa day as self-care and pedicures and manicures as self-care and whatnot. And because it was just never part of my of me, it never occurred to me to like go do that. But then I've done it a couple of times like with friends or for things, and I'm like, this is great. We should do this all the time. Wonderful. Except for too much of the cuticle scraping, because that freaks me out.
I just don't look. I'm super ticklish. But last time I went, I like was telling the lady, I'm like, I'm sorry, like I'm gonna try really hard not to kick you, but I'm super ticklish. And then this fat land whale 3 seats over was like, well, I'm the most ticklish person on the world, and like there's nobody that's as ticklish as me. And I'm like, it's not a competition. I was just letting this lady know that I'm ticklish and I don't want to kick her.
Look, that's like when people get super defensive and they're like, well, you're not as blind as I am. Like, dude, it's not a competition.
It's not.
I only ever ask people what their prescription is to get a sense of like where they are. Because I know because a lot of times I'm always interested when people say my eyes are really, really bad. And I'm like, all right, how bad? Because sometimes they're like, my eyes are really, really bad. And they're like half as bad as mine are. And I'm like, you think it sucks now. It's just funny. You're like, okay, that's where your really, really bad is coming from. Just as a litmus test. And then times you get people like, I'm -7 on one eye. I have a really big disparity. I'm -7 on one eye and -525 on the other. I've met people who are like -13. I'm like, how?
I don't know what that means.
It's just how crappy your vision is. So like, I don't know how it translates to how the contact one translates exactly to the distance one. I do know that my vision is something ridiculous, like 20, 30,000 or something retarded. Basically, if something is 20 feet away from me, it might as well be 8 miles away from me.
Oh, shit.
That's how blind I am. But then, it's always exciting for me when I'm like, okay, how blind are you? And they're like, I'm doubly as blind as you are. I'm like, I can't even imagine. But anyway, but it's a club. It ain't no competition.
Yeah, but people are like that no matter what aspect of it you go to. I just remember like that was years ago, the first time I went to, or not first time, but the last time I went to a pedicure, and just like the lady trying to out ticklish how much she was than me. And I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. Even if I was just very slightly ticklish, I still don't want to kick this lady in the face.
I'm trying to win a prize. I'm saying this like for someone else's benefit. That's though. I just had a thought and I forgot it. About the face finally. Oh, do you ever have anyone in your life? Because there's always those people who want to one up. Do you ever have anyone in your life though who like has to negate every single thing you say? Like even if it's not like even if it's just a matter of opinion or something that's not even that big of a deal. Whatchamacallit, they just have to like negate no matter. There's somebody in the fencing world always would do that to me to the point where it was like, I think I said something about. We were talking about like, God, what if this happened? What if this terrible thing happened in the venue? Like a whole group of us were talking about that. And then I was like, man, the universe would explode. Something like really, really insane. Like the universe exploding or imploding or caving in on itself or some shit. And she's like, yeah, but that might be better than it is now. And I'm like, you're really gonna fucking, it was like still even playfully. I'm like, you're gonna you really can't stop yourself, can you? You are going to just, everything I say is just gonna be that. So
yeah, well that's exactly what my sister is like, but you met her. Like Emily is always like that. I'll go out and say, oh yeah, the sky is blue, and she's like, well actually it's this shade of indigo, and it's like it's still fucking blue, you know what I meant. Yeah. But then like Ellen was always the mediator between me and Emily, and so now it's like I can't even have a conversation with her because what was it? Last time I was up there, I was talking to my mom about YouTube of all things because remember when Matriarchy and I popped on for a little bit because
yeah, so
and you got to see my mom and everyone's like, oh my God, your mom's blonde. And it's like, yeah, my mom's blonde. And then I was talking to her and explaining to her how like streaming works because I jumped off. And then my sister was like, well, actually it's like this, and this. And I'm like, I've been doing this for years. What
fucking job? Like what? I don't know if people do that. Oh my God, my little sister's like that too, and she'll do that to me about, again, things that like I'm the expert on. She'll do that shit to me about it too, and it's like, really? Because okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's maybe that's just a sibling thing, but as far as like people, I mean, I've had coworkers that are kind of like that, but there are some that like they just don't realize that they do it, and then there's others that it's so blatantly obvious that they're just trying to one up you and everything. Even when it's like made up scenarios, like talking about, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like there was a time machine and like who is it, like Rembrandt came through and just told us all how bad our paintings were, but then my thing was like, wouldn't he be amazed at all of the like art supplies, like taking an artist into an art store because they used to have to like crush that shit from
right, yeah, they make their own dyes and crap, yeah.
But then somebody was just like, or somebody in the class, she's like, well, da 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 da, and it's like, you just ruined the fun of the whole thing. Because she's like, well, he would probably instantly die of like some kind of disease because he's not used to art. And it's like, we're talking about a hypothetical situation where we got to meet one of the greatest artists to ever live.
And it's also like, that doesn't even make sense. It's not like he lived in a bubble on like he's not like was a quarantine. They had fucking probably worse and nastier shit going on in the world then. It's like, yeah, when he comes to this time period, you just take him to get inoculations right away. And then it's fine. Also, like everyone else is vaccinated for those things too, so no one's like running around spreading polio anymore, except in those weird anti-vaxxer communities. But it's fucking people. Some people. I was saying that I had a fucking huge fight with my sister once where it was like it was a hypothetical situation that I had brought up, and she was like, kept fighting. I'm like, but it's a hypothetical. She's like, well, it doesn't make sense, and this would never happen. I'm like, it doesn't have to. It's hypothetical. And then it turned into a whole fight about how she hates my hypothetical situations, and she hates how I always want to do those and talk about those. And it's siblings, though. I was like, all right, cool. But siblings. Anyway, I'm gonna read this super chat so I can stop having it highlighted because it's from our favorite, our lovable troll, Mr. Another. For Halloween, will you two dress up as Kylo Ren and Jedi Master Rey Skywalker? JK. It hurt me. It physically hurt me to read those.
Yeah. I can show everyone my costume. So even though I'm like, people didn't like it when I cosplayed, or at least people that hated me didn't like it when I cosplayed as a character from a webtoon that I really like. I decided, because when you get those ads for online stores and it's like, this looks really good in the picture, but I honestly don't know if it's going to look good when I wear it,
Yeah.
Or like if it's going to look the same in person. Like when you see the stuff like this is like from Amazon versus this is from Wish.
Yeah.
And so I ordered it and I'm like, this would be a great like Greek goddess type of costume. And so I was like, this would be perfect if I wanted to cosplay as this character. Let me see if I can find it and pull it up so you guys can see. You can talk while I find it.
Movie Directions AK said, hello, Miss Entertainment and Miss Girl.
Hello.
Enjoy that. Those monikers. Matt G, thank you for the super sticker. He said as a unicorn. Thank you so much, Matt G. Appreciate you. Now that my eyes are dry, I'll read this one again and probably start crying. Jordan Rockwell says, for your fur child, got your back. Thank you again. So much. Barney the Nucleosaurus Reek says, California just banned popcorn? This can't be real. If this is real.
I saw a Yellow Flash post about it. It's...
What is going on? What is going on?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Why California can't burn popcorn?
It's because people stick their hands in it so it can spread COVID.
Oh, so you just can't have it at like what? You can't just ban popcorn. Oh, it's just movie theaters. Movie theaters can't sell popcorn, which is like, I understand why they're doing that when they're trying to open up movie theaters. I don't know why San Francisco is worried about opening up movie theaters. They should be more worried about burning to the fucking ground right now. That does make sense to me, Barney. The Nucleosaurus, as terrible as it is, and as much as I will refuse to go to a movie theater if I cannot have movie theater popcorn while I'm there, we've all been to a movie theater. We see how it goes, where it's they're sticking the hands in, scooping it up. There's a heavy opportunity for cross-contamination. That said, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I mean, I think it's not like just put it into, I don't really understand why it's a big deal unless they're saying like, oh, well, having shared popcorns where you're reaching across people with your masks off and whatnot is going to facilitate this. If you're sharing popcorn with somebody, you're already sitting next to them and you're already not socially distancing with them. So it seems like I get why they want to do it, and it comes from a place of logic, but I would have to know more about the actual like germ content in a popcorn machine and things like that before I'm willing to say this is terrible, or I guess this makes sense, but I'm still not happy about it. Also, thanks Jordan Rockwell, said Fly Eagles Fly. Finally got our win, which puts us first in our division because that's how weird football is this year. Anyway, Mr. Another says, I'm late to the game, but Anna, I saw a picture of you with bangs. Gotta say, not many people can look like they can either look like they could order off the kids menu and get an AARP discount at the same time. JK.
What's an AARP discount?
What?
What's an AARP?
Oh, it's the senior discount.
Oh,
you know about ARP?
That's you.
Yeah, it's like the AARP is like a whole. They're like a. I don't know, they're a nonprofit or whatever they are, but it's just their whole thing designed towards like helping senior citizens, save money and have tools to live and shit. Thank you for the incredibly generous super chat, Mr. Another, and the tenor of it always makes me smile, makes me laugh. I'll be finished reading. It says, Anna, love the new channel with Speed Sketches and Jesse and Pancake's channel too. Thank you so much, Mr. Another. I've been enjoying doing Shit Pancake's channel. He's in the his links in the description. So if you guys want to check him out, I'll be dropping the link in the chat as well. So thank you. And Anna's channel is so much fun to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you don't know, I have an art channel. And so on it, I just post videos of my art. I also have an Instagram where I post said pictures of the art as well. But if you guys haven't, I just passed 1,000 subscribers on it. So I'm excited about that. I think I might start, I'll do like specific art live streams on there and like whatever, if you guys want like me to show you how to draw an orc in slow motion, I can. But I'm having fun with it. I'm doing Inktober, but I found that is terrible for the algorithm, so I might change everything to Drawtober. But it's because there's all this controversy over Inktober because the guy that did it tried to copyright stuff, and then there was all this drama because this other guy was like, you stole my art from my book, and then it just it's drama. But so the algorithm does not like it, and then but so I might change it because there's a lot of, when you type in Inktober, you only see videos from like a year ago, but when you type in Drawtober, it's a lot. It's like stuff from like yesterday or today.
Good.
So maybe it's an algorithm thing. But yeah, go check it out.
And there's a little sneak peek behind the scenes of the research portion of our lives as streamers. So it's kind of fun, like looking at this stuff and like, all right, looking at YouTube channels and like learning about certain optimization and shit like this. I never thought would be like part of my job, but it is. So.
It's the like, I wouldn't say it's boring because sometimes you have fun because you find out like random stuff, but it's definitely not something that you think you'd have to do.
Exactly. It's not a part of the job you consider when you sign up for it. Raging Rhino has some love for Lando. Thank you so much. For those joining who don't know, my kitty cat Lando, he has why can't I words? He has bladder issues. We had to cancel the stream last night. He had to go into the kitty ER. He's looking at me right now. You feeling better? You must be coming down off your pain drugs because your eyes are not as dilated and you look a little more alert. So he had to go to kitty ER, got some pain drugs and some other stuff. He was peeing blood. And so he went back to the vet today. It's going to be a process of treatments and figuring out exactly what's wrong and then keep going. But the nice thing is, not nice that it's a flare-up of an ongoing issue, but that because of that, I kind of know where to go treatment-wise with this, but it's going to be very expensive. So I do have a GoFundMe right now. If anyone is able to contribute even a small amount or is able to share the link and things like that, then by all means, please, thank you. Gratitude forever. Words. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because we were in the kitty cat hospital. The kitty cat hospital until around midnight, and then I got back. We hadn't eaten dinner yet because usually after the stream anyway. So we picked up something on the way home, and couldn't get to bed right away because I was upset. And then I had to wake up crack of dawn to get him back to the vet this morning. So it's been fun. But anyway, GoFundMe is there. So yeah, if I'm sound discombobulated, it's just because I have had very little sleep and a lot of emotional drainage. Maddie Hammond, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, hi Jesse, Anna, heard your comments on Star Wars Squadrons. I'm 80% through the campaign, and so far, no virtue signaling. When playing in virtual reality, and the experience in the Starfighter cockpit is so incredible. Is this the game that had the one pilot where it's like, oh, the gender neutral pronouns one?
Yeah, and then I'm actually gonna have a video come out about it later, but so the guy that did it, he's like a huge SJW, and he basically called the entire Star Wars fandom Nazis.
Wow.
And then Data Racer released all this stuff on it, or all of those combined tweets, and then he had a friend that got hired by EA to work on this, and right after they found out that he he basically abused sexually abused people, so he got fired. And then the dude that's so open and out there about calling Gina Carano a transphobe and calling Star Wars fans Nazis is completely silent about his friend that got fired for sexual abuse.
Shocking. That said, if the game itself doesn't have any of those politics in it, I subscribe to the policy that I judge products by the product, not by the politics of the people who created them. Because to me, that's what got us into this mess in the first place. If to me, watching everyone I'm never going to shop here again, I'm never going to shop there again because the CEO supports these politics or this politician or this voted for that way or voted that. That's how we got here. So to me, that shit's unacceptable, and this guy's a piece of shit. But if it doesn't go in the game, to me, it's hypocritical if I say I'm not going to touch the game because of that. If it's a good game, it's got good gameplay, it doesn't have the virtue signaling, I'm not going to boycott on the basis of his personal politics. That said, if a drip of that, if that sneaks into the game, that's why I'm still on the fence, with it. I'm in no position to buy it at this moment, but I'm still on the fence with it in general. It's that virtual reality play sounds freaking amazing. But and again, if Maddie's saying, there's no virtue signaling, there's not any wokeness in your face, if the worst thing in it is just a gender, neutral character, that's whatever. I'm not going to cut myself off from a decent game on that front.
And what's funny is nobody would have known or worried about it until that asshole dude tweeted about it to be an asshole. So it's you do realize you just lost your company's sales because people that just don't like you and they don't want to support you financially.
And because that's a big part of it too. That is where, in order to get back to where we were. Oh, hi, Dr. Alex. It's good to see you here. But part of why we were able to get back to part of what will allow us to get back to that is people shutting their fucking mouths about this shit. Is understanding that you are a game developer. You are not a public figure, or you're really not a public figure, and you're not a political figure either. Shut your fucking mouth. But the problem is part of social media too is Maddie says they don't even mention the pronouns in the game at all. So this is just bullshit woke, PR marketing that has nothing to do with the game itself, which I don't understand why they do this shit. Because they're exactly what you're saying. They're cutting themselves off from sales. They are hurting themselves when this crap that they're peddling isn't even in the game. So
then that just tells me that he was going out of his way to be an asshole to get attention.
Yeah. Just because that's the whole thing. Everyone wants to be a fucking celebrity now. It's not good enough to just make a good game and let that shit stand for itself. No, you got to be important. You got to be your own personality, your own talking head. It's sorry, assholes, leave the public figure shit, leave the talking head shit to those of us who actually make it our job to be public figures. Because realistically, I may not have the clout, the money, or the reach that this guy has, but I do spend my time specifically cultivating an image and thinking about the words that I'm saying, the messages I'm putting out there, and the impact I want my voice to have on the world, because my work is my voice. My work is putting that voice into the universe. So I'm concerned with how I form it and how it's perceived. People who don't have that same type of awareness feel like I just want to be a fucking celebrity because I deserve to be. I deserve to be a public figure because I did all this great stuff, and don't take any time to think about what actually being this public figure means. And so that's my 2 cents. 5 cents, 12 cents. I was like, those were my 10 pounds, Maddie. Clearly, because I can't shut up. So, Christoph, the Polish guy. Thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, sorry, I just realized you found your costume. It was the costume.
Oh yeah. So this is my costume. This is my. It kind of looks like a Greek goddess, I think. So I hope that it looks, because I was looking at like this part, and like this could be potentially pretty cheap for being $60-something. So I'm hoping that it's nice, and I just didn't, waste money.
Sure.
But I figured, I'm like, okay, I can wear this for Halloween and I can wear it to conventions. So it justifies me spending $66 on it because I am a huge cheapskate. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, Jess? Do you think it's Greek goddessy?
Very much so. If you had a few things, like if you took like the rope sash kind of style, like the gold or silver around the waist, gladiator sandals, and some related jewelry, perfect, and they look great for that.
It would be like the pink character, so I would have to wear like pink tights and then like paint like the top half of me.
Yeah, that one.
The only thing with that, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just take a picture and then like Photoshop myself looking pink, because then I'm like, this is white. It's gonna get destroyed.
That's very true.
But yeah, I think it's nice. I think like
it would be much hotter, but unless you found like a really sheer pink bodysuit or something that you could do.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just take a picture and post and like Photoshop it. Please. Photoshop myself pink. But yeah, so this is supposed to come in this week, so fingers crossed it's good. Fingers crossed, everyone.
And if it's not, we absolutely need to see a hilarious fail photo of it.
Yeah.
So Christoph, the Polish guy, again, thank you for the super chat. Says, is your favorite movie Aquaman based on one of your past videos? That's funny. That just came up the other day about how everyone was so confused about my Aquaman review, because the title of the video is Aquaman is the best movie ever made. And the entire video is me very gleefully and excitingly telling you everything that's horrifically wrong with this movie, because there are so many things wrong with it, but sounding excited. So everyone's like, we get it. You hated the movie. What's going on? Like, did you like it? You hated it? I don't see views. No. I loved watching the movie. I really enjoyed it start to finish, but I have no illusions about it. It was a dog shit presentation. Like, there were so many
terrible. Remember the random flashback where it's like, why is this flashback right here?
Like every flash, they were like, oh shit, because then it was every time it was like, oh crap, we're about to show you a scene where this is really, really important, and so we need to do this flashback right now. So it just came out of the blue. You're like, why do we just jump into this flashback? What is going on? And then 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, because you realized all of a sudden in the editing room that you forgot to explain the fuck to us how we got from A to B, so you threw in a little vignette to get us there. The thing that still gets me, though, is how they make such a big fucking deal about getting that ancient city in the desert and how hard it is to get there and how difficult it was for the two of them to get through the desert.
And then they just teleport to Italy.
And then, like, oh, we're in the middle of the fucking desert and no one even knows where we fucking are. And then we just
we fell through a hole into like this giant cavernous building, and then to get this message, and somehow all of a sudden we got out of this cavern, we got out of the desert, and we teleported to Italy within a matter of minutes.
Because in this fucking scene too, there was no obvious way for them to get out of this cavern. Like, just like you said, like they fucking fell into a giant pit in the ground. I mean, yeah, okay, it's logical to assume there was some way out there, but I'm like, you had no resources. How did you carve your way out? Because the city's been buried by the sand. How did you fucking carve your way out of this place and then get out of the desert with no food, no shelter, no water? But anyway. So, yes, I enjoyed
what is it, drum playing octopus?
Oh my god, yes! I forgot about the drum playing octopus. I love that so much. That was hysterical. Oh god. So there were just so many things in it that were just like, just didn't. The fact that they stole the ending from How to Train Your Dragon 2, like straight.
Yeah, well, not the ending. The scene where it shows the mom. And I'm like, this is literally from How to Train Your Dragon 2, where Hiccup meets his mom for the first time. It's so bad.
Visually, like the same was pacing everything. It was like spot on, and there were fucking dinosaurs in the middle of the earth now, so whatever. It was just so like there were so many problems with it as a film, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a perfectly fun time watching it. I had no issue or anything like that. watching it or enjoying it or saying that I liked watching the movie. I'm just never going to say that it's good.
I just remember I compared it to like, what was it? I don't know. I compared it to something and everyone lost their. People were pissed that I didn't like it, that I said it was a terrible movie.
I got away with it because mine was very satirical. So a lot of people were just confused. They were like, I don't understand how you feel about this movie. I remember you went through the ringer for it because you told me like the next day you're like, Jesse, I tore this movie apart and everyone's giving me shit for it. And I'm
I'm just so confused because I'm like, this is a terrible fucking movie. And all the same people that were like happy when I ripped The Last Jedi a new one were livid at me for ripping this movie a new one. I'm like, how do you not see all of these problems?
Well, remember though, at the time that Aquaman came out, right? That was Christmas of 2018, right?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Not last Christmas, but the year before.
Yeah. It was that long ago?
Yeah, because it wasn't this past Christmas, was it? Was it this past?
No, it wasn't. Gosh, it's odd how the years passed by. I remember we went and like had drinks at that one at my friend's work,
we did,
right?
My friend's workplace, yeah.
And then I forgot my freaking iPad in the movie theater, and I had to like bang on the door for the maids to give it to me because I was going to Boise the next day.
Oh my God, I remember. Fuck, that was a fun night. That was a really fun night. But I thoroughly enjoyed that, and just us in the theater in the because we sat near the back and we're just the two of us back there the whole time, being like, take off your fucking shirt. Why is your shirt still on? Don't put it back. Like, this is like, stop taking your shirt.
This is false fucking advertising. I was promised Jason Momoa and his full male glory, and he's wearing a fucking shirt the whole movie.
That was some bullshit right there.
Hardcore bullshit. I'm like, false fucking advertising.
So here's the little boy. Here's Lando. He's feeling a little better because he came over and hopped up himself. So he's definitely feeling a little perkier right now. Guess his pain meds are wearing off, and he's not in too much pain, which is good because he wouldn't be all hopping up. But hi, sweetheart. I think he's figured out too. As much as he hates going to Terrify, he runs and hides. When the carriers come out, he's terrified when he goes. I really think there's some part of him that realizes that all this stuff makes him better. Because in the past 2 days, so he was probably having some discomfort the past couple of days. He noticed he was like coming over to us a lot more, up on my lap a lot more in places where he wouldn't usually come over and demand my attention that much. And then now like he's acting all like happy and sort of he looks, I don't know, like he seems like weirdly grateful in a weird way. Like he knows that he's getting help, So it makes me happy. I hope he's over his ears, piece 2 and 2 together, that these things suck, but I feel better right after them. So hopefully that's where we're at. Either that or he's just a little bit stoned still. Who knows? Hi, baby. I love you. So, yes, so I just wanted to share since he popped up here. Yay. And where are we in Snooper Chats? And then we actually do have a topic today, so we'll get to it.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
For real. Christoph, the Polish guy, thank you for the additional super chat. He says New England Patriots all the way. All the way where? All the way to the bottom of the AFC East? All the way to the, laughing stock of the NFL? All the way down after their massive ascent? I mean, certainly not all the way to victory on Sunday night. It was very
enjoyable. Isn't that the one that Tom Brady is on?
Not anymore.
He's not. Where'd he go?
Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes. So,
wow.
So Jeremy's number one man crush just moved to Florida. He probably cleans his pants every day when he wakes up just from the proximity. So the Bucs are actually enjoying their best success thus far. I don't think they're undefeated, but they might be 3-1 right now. And the Pats are falling apart. This was fucking hysterical. So Cam Newton was their quarterback. Cam Newton was the big shot Carolina quarterback, who everyone was like, he's going to be, the next big thing. And he pissed a lot of people off during that season for a couple. First of all, he has the worst fashion sense of anybody ever. And this Carolina Panthers had this undefeated season. They went all the way to the Super Bowl and they fucking lost. They got their shit pushed in, I think, by the Patriots. They got like slaughtered in that game. It was not close. And before the game, though, Cam Newton was talking himself up about how he's like the only black quarterback ever to be good or great at the game and all this shit. And so a lot of black quarterbacks who played football took umbrage to that statement. But I was like, that's social justice bullshit. Everyone wanted to be like, oh, no one's ever done this before. I'm the best thing for racial justice. It's like, bitch, you ain't. But I guess his new teammates in New England don't like him either because he couldn't play on Sunday because he tested positive for COVID. No one else in the team tested positive before the game anyway. I'm curious to see now and be like, oh, the entire Patriots has it. They were just lying because they don't like Cam Newton. But turns out, yeah, everyone happily socially distanced from their quarterback all of the time. So that's that world of things. But anyway, enough football. The Hockey Junkie Bucky Monkey says Texas is winning me over. May have to move there. I can't. I've enjoyed every visit I've ever had to Texas, except for that time I got stuck in El Paso. But that's a different story.
I have never been to Texas.
It's actually quite nice for a lot of reasons. I just couldn't live there for a variety for a variety of those reasons.
I know a lot of people are moving to Texas. My mom was talking about moving to Texas. Like, why? I'm not going to move to Texas, Mom.
The thing is, the weather's so much shittier. Like, it's actually in many places legitimately gets cold in the winter. And then in the summertime, it's not only boiling hot, but humid as well. Disgustingly, obnoxiously humid. And yeah, there are a lot of other perks about it, but it's also like Texas is also full of Texans. And while many Texans are wonderful people, some are just not. And I guess that's true of everywhere, but it's just not my speed of life. You know, for the times I had really enjoyed visiting and all that stuff. No, maybe I'd go to Houston and feel differently at some point. You know, it's a city I've never been to that I heard is a very nice one. But I've mostly been in and around the Dallas area. But it's just not my speed of life, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
Would you ever consider moving to Texas? Is there a universe in which you'd consider moving to Texas? And if not, why not?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Texas, really, except they have Texas Longhorn cows.
It's fine. Also, like, as a woman, you know, Texas laws tend to be not very beneficial to us sometimes. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. We'll leave it at that. We don't want to get political or anything like that. That's all. Miss Trina, this is another Halloween costume idea. Is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard for you too? It could be the best costume for Halloween 2020, right? Ew.
Oh my God, you'd have to be Amber.
Excuse me, I am taller and I have the short hair already, so.
You're the blonde. I'm the brown one.
I can wear a wig. I can get spray-on hair color. Hair. I can't pull off that. She's got the long hair. I need a wig no matter what. So,
I would do the Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp.
I would do a great Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. It's just the same too. So, get a wig for that. We could have a Jack Sparrow off. We just get everyone we know to dress up. That'd be a fun party one year to just do like a.
Everyone has to dress up like Captain Jack Sparrow.
The Captain Jack Sparrow Halloween party, and everyone has to dress up like that, and everyone has to act like that all night. How fun would that be? I would love that. Social Distance Warrior says, can't give much, but my Cato had his first uretic episode at 5 years old. That was Lando. It was 4. Scary. It was really scary, but with proper care and prescription food, he is a healthy 14. Yay! I wish the best for Lando. Cat friends are worth it. They really are. So here's our little Lando kitty again. He's chilling out. He's napping. He's had a traumatic day. He's got a long couple of days here. So keeping him close and giving him some love as he crashes out over here. But thank you, and guys, thank you so much. It's incredibly generous of you. And anybody, you know, even small amounts. I'm posting the GoFundMe link in the chat as well, so hopefully you guys are seeing that. And stuff. But yeah. Andrew Matthews says, get well soon, Lando. Thank you so much, Lando. People are wishing for you to get well, little buddy. Here he is again. Whee! So his head's hanging off now. But thank you so much, Andrew Matthews, and for everyone. Anthony Scioli says, I hope your cat does better than one of mine did. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I hope he pulls through and does all that. Christoph, the Polish guy, says Trump is better than the SJW left, but all politicians suck. Agree to disagree. I think they suck about equally. But fair. I understand I definitely understand and respect the perspective. All right. So again, thank you for the super chats so much. DJ Fox, thank you so much. Anyone is it anywhere you can share this link to, guys, it's incredible. Whatchamacallit?
Words,
thoughts, feelings. Why can't I words? Dr. Robnail's just caught here. He's just going over. Lando's having bladder issues. If you want to know more details, we are just getting here and you want to know more details, I did write it all up in the GoFundMe description. So I'm sharing that here. I'll be sharing it, all over social media the next few days and stuff. And thoughts and prayers go so far, guys. Love goes so far. Sharing, spreading the word goes so far, and even $1 goes more further than you can imagine. So thank you so much for all of the willingness to help out. Appreciate it. If you are able to give an amount too, I highly encourage you to do it on the GoFundMe instead of YouTube, because YouTube does take 30% of what we make on here from super chats, and 100% of what you give on GoFundMe is going to go towards an animal in need. So I put on there right off the bat, if I manage to end up with more than I actually need to take care of him, that all the excesses will be donated to the Humane Society. So every penny is going to go towards animals in need. Andrew Matthews, how is Jeff taking this? He was upset too. He was really upset. He was scared for Lando last night. Came to the kitty ER with me and all that stuff. So he's very attached to the kitties as well.
What's up?
Oh, someone just asked how you're taking all the stuff with Lando.
I'm just glad he's back home.
Yes, he's just glad he's back home. So happy. Thank you, DJ Fox. Appreciate so much. Are you modded on here? Because if not, I'll make sure that's the case now, so that you can do that on this and elsewhere. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you are in other chats and whatnot, for people who may not have seen the link, if you go to other streamers, other chats and whatnot, you don't have to try to like get anyone's attention on the streams and whatnot, but just in the chat, people who are in the chats, if you can make them aware too and point them in the right direction, so that if they haven't heard and they want to help out, appreciate so much. Alondra says Kitty R sounds so cute yet so awful. Yeah, I mean yeah. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful that we have one in our neighborhood. We have a 24-hour animal care center. Yeah, Dr. Coffin-Nails, his last surgery, just the surgery was about half of that. And then there was all the aftercare and follow-ups and stuff like that. So the last time we went through all of this, I think it was the total expenditure was more than $6,000. So, yep. Runs with Phantom says, here's $2 so that you at least get $1. Thanks, Runs with Phantoms. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all the love. And now into the outrage. Who's ready for the outrage? Outrage o'clock. So, here we go. Guys, in case it wasn't obvious to all of us what the intention was. Oh, hold on. One more super chat, and he says, last one, so we'll read Christoph the Polish guy before I jump into this. It says, last super chat, with all due respect, if you hate Trump, why do you share channel with Jeremy and Josiah Rises, who love Trump? Well, because disliking a politician to me is not grounds to start or end a friendship. Disparate political beliefs are not and have never been for me grounds to disavow somebody. That's just why people who love Trump are welcome in this chat just as much as those who hate him. People who are voting any which way on the political spectrum. The only thing we don't tolerate is intolerance. It's the only thing I don't tolerate in my channel. So everything else, any other opinions, and I mean any other opinions, I mean, if you support Trump, if you don't, I mean, if you that, anything outside of straight up intolerance. And I mean, literally sitting here saying something like kill all white people or kill all Jews, things like that. it's problems. But yeah, Dark Shadow Legacy, you can agree and still get along. Exactly. We disagree on tons of things. One of the most fun Jeremy and I used to have when we were streaming together was just fighting over shit. And Josiah Rises and I have never had anything but respectful interactions. Even when we've done, back and forth videos where we've vehemently disagreed and we publicly will be, snipe at each other. It's good entertainment. It's fun that way. Everyone loves a good public feud, but the reality is when we go at each other like that, we still get along just fine. He and I have nothing against each other ever and never have. So yeah, that's important to me. Intolerant to intolerance, exactly. But anyway, so as I was saying before, if you at any point were missed the timing on Amazon announcing it was going ahead with this Lord of the Rings TV show, that it was something they had floated. This is something they'd floated in the ether for years. And they finally said, we're going ahead with this. And this happens months after Game of Thrones ends in a very, very disappointing fashion. So,
oh yeah. Well, also one of the things that I don't think people realize is George R. R. Martin got the idea of Game of Thrones after, I believe, he finished reading the books of Lord of the Rings and he didn't like the way it ended. He's thought that there's Aragorn is a warrior. He's not fit for being a political leader. He doesn't have the experience. And so Robert Baratheon is based on Aragorn. And Game of Thrones is a much more realistic war, because obviously Tolkien, it's all idealized. This is a fantasy world. And so George R. R. Martin he took that and he's like, this is what would really happen. And this is how vicious and how evil and corrupt the world actually is.
Yeah.
And so for their idea, what they're going to try to base this Lord of the Rings show on is it's a prequel to Lord of the Rings, but it's taking the themes from George R. R. Martin. It's no, do you not realize that his show his books were a critique on this? They're two very different things. And I did a video on this yesterday on my channel for everyone that isn't aware, because YouTube doesn't send notifications anymore. Jessie, because she's a much better reader than I am, she's going to read you guys all of this information. But it's just, they're going to put sex and rape into Lord of the Rings. And it's you can show, or you can talk about rape, or you can, imply things without having to show it. Okay, in Gone with the Wind, we know exactly what happened when her and Butler got into a fight, and then he picks her up and he carries her up the stairs. We know exactly what's going to happen next, and it goes, the camera goes black. We all know what happens. They don't show it.
Hey, Lord of the Rings. The fuck do you think happened right after the scene on the bridge with Aragorn and Arwen? What do you think they did? They went off to one of their rooms and banged. Hardcore all night long. But storytelling, just like you said, you can imply this without showing a single thing. And there's also, it's when you talk about things like, you never see anyone in Star Wars until The Mandalorian. You never even saw a toilet in Star Wars, right? So in Star Wars as a universe, we never see anyone go to the bathroom. There are tons of movies. Majority of films you see, you never see anyone go to the bathroom. They go to the bathroom if it's relevant to the plot in some ways. So you often see it in comedies, right? You see it in family movies when somebody's hogging the bathroom or using the bathroom. You see it, in slice of life type movies, those gritty, very realistic ones and whatnot. Because that, and so you don't, and you only hint at those in those types of movies. In a movie where that's just not anything to do with the world you're living in, you never do. No one stops to take a piss on the side of the trail in, Lord of the Rings. Nobody says, hold on, I'll be right back, and runs to the
Nobody talks about how they didn't have toilet paper or showers on what?
Exactly.
When Sam and Schmeagol and Frodo were climbing up those stairs, where the fuck, where did they go pee or poop? And obviously they didn't have toilet paper.
Right? They're taking a shit.
I don't need to know it. I don't want to know.
They're taking a shit and wiping it with the leaves that the lembas bread was wrapped in. So these are just certain things that don't belong. The same way that that would feel so out of place if in the middle of the asteroid scene in Star Wars, if Han's like, Chewie, take the wheel, I gotta take a piss. It just doesn't make sense there. It doesn't work. It doesn't, because it's not relevant.
Hold that shit.
Yeah, because it's not relevant to the world we created. And now, Lord of the Rings universe, romance has a place, of course. It always has, you know. It's not a very, but that place has always been on the sidelines. There is 0% romance in The Hobbit. There's Aragorn and Arwen's relationship, which is
no, there was romance in The Hobbit. It was the elf chick and the dwarf dude
in the book.
Oh, gotcha.
The book.
I thought we were talking about the movies.
Fuck that. No, not love triangle. But see, even that I could tolerate because it made sense for it. It was never about physical intimacy or sex or anything like that. The love triangle they did with the dwarf and the elf chick and Legolas, it was done for all the flaws that The Hobbit had. The way they showed that was at least in keeping with what we've seen in Lord of the Rings before, where it wasn't the key part of any plot. It was just there. It just happened. And so I like the way they treated, you know, Aragorn and Arwen's relationship in the movies, in the original trilogy. It's the same thing. You know, it's a very nothing. She had a bigger part in the Fellowship than she did in the book even. But whatchamacallit. But, you know, she comes up and she becomes relevant because she's part of his motivation for what he does, and their relationship is important because it's this forbidden love and all that. So I get that, but it's also like very, very on the sidelines. You know, Eowyn's crush on Aragorn. Very, very on the, not even her motivation to go to war, right? That's just on the sidelines. All that's on the sidelines. It's whatever. That's the place for romance in Lord of the Rings, an afterthought. You know, something that adds to the depth and the richness of your characters, but not something that's important to the story. So now when we're talking about casting calls that are looking for, and we'll get into all this too, casting calls that are looking for background to be naked and imply based on the wording of the casting call that this is going to potentially be a group scene. So we're going to have orgies in Game of Thrones now. We're going to have sex dungeons. We're going to have people running around naked. Like, what are you doing? The only universe in which I could see that kind of thing being acceptable is if you're like, all right, well, here's a new class of elves and they're all nudists. Okay, you have a group of wood elves who all run around naked all the time and they're nudists. I could buy into that. But outside of that, I don't fucking, I don't know, Dr. Coffin-Nails. Eowyn did not. Arwen and Eowyn, the two star females of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, are two women who defied that place. So A+ Tolkien on that one. But yeah.
What do you call it? Eowyn, her whole thing is like she wants to go fight battles. That whole scene that got last time we were on Jesse's channel on the Matriarchy, because I was showing that EFAT meme, and Arwen, Eowyn, excuse me. God, they're all their names are so fucking similar. Eowyn stabbing what's his face in the face.
Which King of Angmar?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If you ever want, I might be rusty because it's been a minute, but if you ever want those like weird, obscure Lord of the Rings details where you're like, who the fuck was that person's name again? Because there's 8,000 different weird sounding names. Yeah, I'm your gal for that. Like I said, I've probably forgotten shit over the years, like a lot of the Elvish words I used to know. But
the one thing that I wish that they would, because it's in the books, but they didn't show it in the movie, is how Eowyn and Faramir, how, you know, she's recovering because she can barely hear because the Nazgul roared and it like burst her eardrums, and then they have like that moment where you realize like they're gonna fall in love, and I was like, why didn't they show that in the damn movie? Like, come on.
They hint it in the extended edition of the Return.
Okay,
you have it in the extended edition where they have the moment where they're both like lying in the infirmary recovering and they lock eyes and you know what's up, and I'm like, thank you. So they do tease it, and they do have that moment, which I love in the extended ones, because yeah, it's right in the books. You know, it's which is great. I love that Tolkien did that and had that sensibility of doing that. It's like he could have just put it in the lineage later, because that's really the only. He's very subtle about it in the writing, but you get confirmation that they get together because his fucking hundreds of pages of appendices after Return of the King has family trees, and it shows you Eowyn and Faramir married and they have kids and all that shit, you know, down the line and whatnot. So it's like you get it so delightfully teased in the book, and you're like, oh yeah, they do get together. There you go. But that's Tolkien, you know. We're not going to spend time unraveling this romance and worrying about, you know, developing it and showing you all these pieces. We're just going to show them, make an eyes. They also do in the regular edition. It's much more subtle though. In the regular edition, I think they're standing near each other in the final.
Yeah, when Aragorn's getting crowned.
and they make eyes at each other, but it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's like a nothing burger. But they do lean into it a little bit harder.
And you know what I loved though about Lord of the Rings is when you meet Aragorn and he's Strider.
Strider.
And so it's like, okay, and then for whatever reason he takes off and he doesn't show back up until Frodo's about to get stabbed by the freaking dude. And then
for 7 hours.
yeah, it's like, well, he just took off. And so yeah, he was like scouting, I get it, but it's like, come on, you're on the mountain that all of these people can find. You're not like in the middle of a forest hiding. Like you're kind of in a prime location to get attacked, and he just takes off. But yep. Which I was like, what are you doing, dude? But I love that you just see Éowyn and they're already in love and they already have this history. I don't need to know the history. It's like you can just, and like, I never really thought of Liv Tyler as like the best actress in the world, but in Lord of the Rings, they do a very good job of like, these people obviously are in love and they have like this back history, but shit's getting in the way and they're both, you know, responsible adults. And so they know that they got to take care of shit first before they can be together. And so I always loved that because I'm like, oh, you know, they're romance at this time.
I would take it one step further and say that in that little scene, not only do we understand this implicit, you know, romance that's going on, I think in that little scene, they even convey how long they've known each other.
Yeah.
Because you learn later on that they sort of like, their romance started when they were both much younger. And they was sort of like, they're, you know, both ancient people because the Dunedain have, you know, elven blood and whatnot. And that's why he's so old, and she's obviously an elf, so she's immortal.
You don't even find out how old he is unless you watch the extended editions. And he said how old he is.
Yeah, it was 87 or something.
86.
86. So you get the sense that like when they were much younger, but I think even in that scene, you get that feeling of like, oh, these are childhood friends. Like these are people who grew up together. Like so much of that depth in just these little moments, which why Peter Jackson did such a beautiful job of. Like he was just the person to make that trilogy because he understood Tolkien's intentions in a way that clearly Amazon does not. But in a way that so far, you know, Amazon does not. And then, you know, whatever studio influence came in for The Hobbit, the people who weren't Peter Jackson working on The Hobbit also clearly did not understand this. So Greg Kirby is making Gandalf a woman in the TV series. That's bullshit.
But also, don't they only have a certain amount of stuff that they can take creative license with because of who owns the Tolkien Estate?
Yes. Now, the thing is, what I don't know, but I don't actually know who owns it right now because Christopher Tolkien just died recently, and he was the one who owned it. So I'm assuming he had appointed a predecessor and whatnot, but I don't know if this next person. I'm already going to say no. I don't know if whoever's whoever lost the word that I was looking for. Whoever's in charge of the Tolkien Estate now, I don't know if they have the same, passion and appreciation and reverence for Tolkien's work that his son did.
What I would do is I would just say, as I'm dying, nobody's allowed to fucking touch this ever. Like, you're not allowed to fuck with this ever. Never.
I honestly would. I like, if I was in that position, I would looking around the world, looking at things, and I can understand the opposite of saying, oh, let's pass it on and keep it as a thing. Looking around the state of the world and the way media was going, I'd be like, straight up, like, no, it can't. Oh, shit. Diego Flores says Amazon owns all the rights. Gary from Nerdrotic already confirmed it. Thank you, Diego Flores, for that. I had not heard that. I did not know that.
That sucks.
But that's terrible. That's terrible because I know that was a thing at least when Tolkien.
Jesse, we need to find somebody that we trust that's single because what Jeff, however the fuck you say his last name, the guy that owns Amazon.
Oh, Bezos, yeah.
He's single now. He's also a billionaire. Somebody go marry him. And just say, oh, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Honey, as our wedding gift, can you just give it to me so I can be in charge of it?
Yeah, right.
Who do we know that's single that's a huge Lord of the Rings fan is not a psycho? That wants to go marry Jeff Bezos for us.
Do you think Jeff Bezos would go woke and marry Cecil?
Maybe. I don't think we can do it.
We can try. We can try. I don't know how big of a Lord of the Rings fan Cecil is or not, but
Cecil. I thought you said lethal.
No, Cecil. Because Cecil, can steal any man, and can steal anyone he wants to, probably with his massive wit and endless charm. And I feel like even if he's not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan in the world, he will still respect our wishes for what he's supposed to do with it. So I do have a single friend though who's very pretty, and well, I'm not going to disclose her private business, but she is a person who could capture his attention perhaps. But I don't think she'll take one for the team on this.
He's a billionaire. He's the richest, like one of the richest people in the world. Take one for the fucking team.
So the Tolkien is. So I don't know where Gary got this information from, Diego, but according to Wikipedia, anyway, the Tolkien Estate, its directors are still family members. So
they sold the television rights, though.
Well, yeah, they had to sell the television rights. So the thing was under Tolkien, under Christopher Tolkien, I'm assuming the family probably kept with his legacy. One of the things they're not allowed to do with this show is, which this I think is probably something that then already actually, based on the rumors we're hearing, maybe something that's been compromised since Christopher Tolkien's death. Because when Christopher Tolkien was alive, he was very specific that the show could not use any of the characters. Like, it was his edicts were basically, you can't use any of the characters that he created. You can't use any of the stuff he created, like the specifics. So characters, maybe it was just characters specifically, but that took them out of wanting to work in the time period of the trilogy, obviously, or immediately post, because you can't follow these beloved characters, which thank God for that. So it may have softened now to be like maybe no core characters. I'm hearing rumors of Gandalf. I'm hearing rumors of Galadriel. So maybe
Elrond is going to be in it, like Elrond and Galadriel.
Yeah. So they might be together at this point too, depending on what time period they're. Because there is a period where they have a relationship too, so that'll be terrible. Because God, things I don't want to see in the Lord of the Rings universe for 500. Galadriel and Elrond getting it on.
Yeah, I don't really want to. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, I really don't at all. But before we dive into this article itself, I'm going to go back because we missed a bunch of super chats. So I want to make sure that we grab these. We'll get through these, and
we haven't. It's been an hour. We haven't even gotten to the article.
That's all right. We have fun. That's the
important. And this is a long ass article.
Matt G says, "You guys fans of Van Halen? R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen."
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I was so bummed. That was actually last night's stream. Was going to be a big chunk of it was going to be just dedicated to Van Halen. I was going to even start probably singing some songs randomly and shit like that, and who knows what was going to happen. Unfortunately, we did have to cancel because of my kitty's emergency. So, if you're just joining and you haven't heard, Kitty needs help. For vet bill, I need help for vet bills. Kitty needs help for bladder issues, and so here's the link again. If you're able to just share the link, if you're able to share anything of your own to this campaign, just endless gratitude for that. But so thank you guys. And anyway, that's there. So if you want to know more about it, I won't take up too much time here again. But what's going on is all in the description there if you want to take a look. But appreciate again love and support. That's why this issue was canceled. It was going to be again an Eddie Van Halen stream because goddamn, that was a kick in the teeth for 2020. Are you a Van Halen fan at all?
Yeah, I'm just. It's like first, Bowie dies of cancer, and that hit me. I was completely blindsided by that. I knew something was up when he came out with the album, and he has the song like Lazarus, and all of it is like about death and like looking back from the other side. And then with this, I'm just like, God damn it,
right.
Fucking and they're both in their 60s, so I'm like, God.
I know it's not fair. It really isn't. Do you have if you had to pick a favorite Van Halen song, what would you pick?
It depends on my mood, because a lot of music, it's like, so I'll give you an example with Bowie. But so when I'm in a certain, favorite Bowie song is always like Space Oddity, because I just remember listening to that and I'm like, oh my God, I love this storytelling. But then recently I've just been listening to Sorrow over and over and over again, and it reminds me of my sister, and so that's the one that I've been listening to. But then for a long time I'm like, oh, I love Rebel Rebel, I love Life on Mars. It's just
love Life on Mars might be my current favorite.
It's just one of those things that it depends on my mood. I remember when I was a little kid, I don't know why, I just really liked Panama, because I remember we had to listen to it in class because we were learning about the Panama Canal and how everyone like got malaria from mosquitoes and died. And my teacher just kept playing Panama when we were taking our like quiz, and I'm like, okay. And then after a while, I'm like, I've listened to the song too many times, so I want to like just not listen to it again for a few years. Right. But I really like Dreams.
I don't know if I know the one off the top of my head, actually.
No?
Huh. See if you know my favorite.
In a very like certain mood.
Yeah. See if you know my favorite off the top of your head, because Jeff didn't know my favorite Van Halen song, which is I'll Wait. Which is like, it's much more like glam 80s than it is like the hair metal like sound. It's just it sounds a little different from a lot of other Van Halen, but it was on the radio at one point, like ton, on one of the like rock stations that played like a lot of 70s, 80s, 90s rock and stuff. Whatchamacallit, why can't I words? Because today, that's why. But they had went through a phase where they played I'll Wait a bunch. I don't know why. It just really like this. It's a very dramatic song. It's got like great vote. It's really fun to sing along to as well. Yeah, a solid, beautiful guitar solo in it as well. Not a shredding one. It's just really solid and good. You know. Anyway.
Oh my God! Totally off topic. Ray just gained another force power.
Oh God.
Do you want to?
Do I want to know?
Here, let me send you the article right here. Do you want? Is everyone so excited to hear the bestest ever in the whole galaxy? Rey Skywalker, Palpatine. She got a brand new force power because women.
Yeah, women. Oh my God. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, this is a short little one, so I'm going to share this with you guys. Well, I won't even share this. I'll just read it to you guys. It's very short. Who cares? Let's see. During the events of Star Wars The Force Awakens, Rey found herself drawn to the lightsaber that once belonged to Anakin Skywalker. When she touched the hilt of the blade Luke Skywalker lost on Cloud City, she was flooded with visions that have since been dubbed a Force back in canon. While visions are nothing new in the Star Wars universe, what Rey went through was, and as well as hearing Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice, the young orphan also caught a glimpse of the Knights of Ren. Lucasfilm Publishing has released the Star Wars book, featuring input from the likes of Pablo Hidalgo, oh boy, Cole Horton, and Dan Zare. I have no idea who those other two people are. In a section exploring Force abilities, it is confirmed that Rey's Force back was a result of a new Force power she wields, which has been described as psychometry. Some Force abilities require years of training, a form of instinctual aptitude, or a very strong connection to the Force to access, the book reads. A small number of Force users, including Rey and Cal Kestis, have the rare ability of psychometry, which allows them to learn about people or events by touching an object associated with them. A lot of new Force powers have been introduced in recent years, with both The Mandalorian and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker revealing a healing ability that comes at great cost to the Jedi using it. I feel like that Force healing ability is something we would, if there was a real thing in the Star Wars galaxy, is something we might have seen before now. We might have seen it, once or twice in critical moments where people were dying before Force healing as a thing.
Or, Anakin could have done that with freaking Padme, but no.
Wasn't that the entire... So, I'm sorry. Going back to Force healing for a second, doesn't Force healing kind of, in so many ways, negate the entire lie of Anakin's journey? Because the whole thing about Anakin, he was seduced into the dark side with the promise that he would be able to prevent death, and he wasn't able. That was a lie. The whole point of that was that no, you were seduced by a lie. You know, the Sith are like Satan, the biblical Satan in that way, where he sings sweetly in your ear, and you come and you find out it's all bullshit. That was the whole fucking point of this seduction of you'll be able to heal everyone.
Well, it wasn't even that you could heal. It was that you could stop people from dying.
And that's what Rey does in Rise of Skywalker. That is what Rey does. She fucking kills Kylo Ren and goes, whoops, and brings him back from the dead. So the whole thing is, if you're leaning into the guy who becomes the most powerful Sith Lord, I don't know, ever, maybe, would you consider Palpatine the most powerful Sith Lord ever? No, I don't know about too much of the EU, so maybe there are other ones. But anyway, he's a very powerful Sith Lord.
No kidding. I wouldn't say he's the most powerful ever. I would say he's definitely one of the cleverest, because he was able to take power, whereas not many other Siths have been able to in the past. This
is true. This is very true. But the whole thing of it is like it crumbles that story when stopping people from dying using the Force is totally a thing. So it's not that. So it really cheapens that narrative, because it's not about you were seduced to the dark side with a power and a gift you could never have. It's you were seduced to the dark side being promised this thing that Palpatine actually just never got around to teaching you, which, oh, by the way, good Jedi could do this as well. So I don't know why you didn't just stay with the good guys and learn how to do it.
Force healing is in the EU, but it takes, you have to sit there and meditate and, to put your energy and your midichlorians, well, they didn't have this back when it was written, but you have to basically use all of your focus on energy into healing someone, and then you have to go into a sedated it's like the Force sedating you into a meditation. So when Luke heals Mara Jade, when they're going into the Hand of Thrawn, that whole Force, why am I blanking on the word for it, stronghold, there you go. And she gets shot and Luke has to Force heal her. He basically puts them both in a trance and he meditates while he heals her, and then he has to depending on the severity of it, he has to knock himself out and basically sleep for 2 days, because it takes so much energy and effort and so much, not everyone can do this. It takes a lot of training, years and years of training to be able to heal someone, and then they're not even completely healed.
Yeah, well, yeah, Varjance just added there was a limit. So yeah, that's fortunately it wasn't fixing lightsaber holes. It wasn't putting a hand on someone and going, whoop, magic, they're better now. Oh, I'm a little bit tired. Oh no, God forbid. It's ridiculous. The other thing too, this is some bullshit too, right? Is the way, I hate the way they handle this too, is we negated the EU. We said it's not real, it's legends, it's whatever. The EU already introduced Force healing, but we negated that now because that's not Star Wars anymore. When we just rip off somebody else's pre-existing idea and, let's do Force healing, they get to run around being like, look, something that's never been done in Star Wars before. No, it actually fucking has been, but due to your technicality, it doesn't count. So, anyway. So, those things. Let's go through these super chats. Let's carry on with these super chats. Let me see if I lost some out here already. So, yeah, we lost. I guess we got Christoph, the Polish guy, engaged because we had last super chat. But I just love. It makes me feel. Let me just say, when you guys do, we'll joke about it. When you guys do that. But when I notice that when someone says all right, last super chat, but then you come and super chat more, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like we're doing our job because you're so engaged in the conversation. You want to keep contributing even after you're it's like that moment where you're all right, time to hang up now, goodbye, and then you stay on the phone for another hour. So, or people say going to bed and then you see them in the chat an hour later. So thank you.
I'm gonna be a terrible person and go run and get some snacks.
Go for it. Or keep reading super chats while you're on, because we do have a chunk and then we'll get into this article. Christoph, the Polish guy, says that you started Game of Thrones talk. I have to say something. So now we got to a topic. You got to contribute. I have to say something that saying the ending was disappointing is actually putting it lightly. And Lord of the Rings is the best trilogy. Could not agree more. Christoph, the Polish guy. I do love Star Wars so much, but it's like A New Hope favorite movie still. But God, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is just so fucking epic. And thank you, Diego Flores. We did read this one. Amazon owns all the rights. Gary from Nerdrotic already confirmed it. So the Tolkien Estates didn't, unless there's some we just don't know. The Tolkien Estate did not flat out just sell this entire, IP to Amazon. So again, if that news comes out, interesting, very interesting, and clearly, Gary's got an inside source, so that's the case. But I do think, and I do think we've seen that, a loosening of, so far just in the news that has come out about the show so far, that there's been a relaxing of some of the more stringent hard lines Chris Tolkien drew in the sand, saying you can or can't do this with my father's IP. So I'm sad for that. But yeah, the Hunky Junky Monkey says, I'll take one for the team and marry Bezos. I support you 100%. I'll be your wing woman if you need. Diego Flores says, correction, Anna, he is the richest man in the world. Jesse, your friend, has to take it for the team. So we got Hunky Junky Monkey said he'd do it, so I don't have to make my friend do it anymore. But yes, correct. He is the richest man in the world and on track to becoming the world's first trillionaire in the next 5 years. There's a part of me that if I could have a wish, I wouldn't just wish to become the world's first trillionaire. What I would wish for is to become the world's first trillionaire the day before Jeff Bezos does. Just because. I just thought it was so tasteless.
I heard Jeff Bezos.
Oh, we're getting to the Bezos super chats.
He is the richest. Yes, okay, there you go. He's the richest man in the world. Some girl that's single that loves Lord of the Rings, that's is there any girl in the fandom menace that is single, that loves Lord of the Rings, and will take one for the team and marry the richest man in the world?
I feel like if Jeff and I talked about it, we could figure out something where he'd be okay with me seducing Jeff Bezos, marrying him without a prenup, and then divorcing him for a fuck ton of his money.
I don't think he would ever. Well, you can just marry him, and he's old. He'll die.
That's fair too. We might be able to work something out like that.
Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera for 1 second so I can show you how glorious my snack is. That did not sound right. Okay, don't judge me. I'm not wearing makeup, and I have my costume on. But look at this. Look at this. So good. Oh, so good. What do you think of this witch hat, by the way?
I like it a lot. I think it's hella cute. It reminded me.
I like it.
It reminded me that I need to get stuff for my Halloween costume because I'm supposed to be Janet Snakehole.
I'm actually a fan of these things. Remember, what was it? The Dracula movie where Winona Ryder and she's got the little thing. Why did these ever go out of fashion? I like this. I'm hey,
no, they're really cute though. I'd wear one. So the Janet Snakehole costume includes a thing like that on the hat. I gotta find pieces for it. That's for the hosts who don't know who the fuck Janet Snakehole is. Janet Snakehole and Burt Macklin FBI. Those were the characters that April and Andy roleplay as in Parks and Rec, to bring spice back into their life. But yes, so
here I'll leave the camera on so you guys can watch me eat like a weirdo.
Greg Kirby says, for Lando seeing Greedo shot first. Greg Kirby, you're killing me, Smalls. Lando knows that Han shot first. Yes, he does. He's I have respect for Han. He is my elder. He is my older brother. I have great respect. Yes, Lando's voice is a weird German accent. Don't worry about it. All the cats have their own voices. Adam Wofford says, the last thing I heard, it was supposed to take place in the Second Age. They aren't supposed to touch the 3 books or anything in the Third Age. That's what I've heard too, Adam Wofford. I hope they stick with that. But I heard they weren't supposed to touch any canon characters, so I guess, again, that might have changed a little bit if we're using Galadriel, Elrond, or maybe, again, the deal was none of the core canon characters, so arguably, Second Age would be too young for, Aragorn, but I don't remember how old Legolas is supposed to be if he was born in the Third Age or if he was still around in the Second Age, so I don't know. Anyway, I have to check out Dreams. Optigrade says Dreams is awesome, as is the video. I've definitely never seen the music video, so I'll definitely check that out. And rest in peace to the late great Eddie Van Halen. Wicked Steel says, "Hail Anna and Jesse. Love the show and Anna's art channel, especially the sexy orc woman. R.I.P. Eddie Van."
Thank you. Yeah, so there's a story behind that. I'm now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I can stream on that channel. So once Inktober is over, I'm gonna do like an art stream, and so I'll explain why I draw orcs and why I draw them the way that I draw them. But they're my favorite thing to draw.
They look fantastic.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Turner says Excalibur 1981 was going to be a Lord of the Rings with nudity, and see that kind of idea too is like great. You know, do something your own thing and explore the idea. Okay, what if Lord of the Rings had nudity? Great, but to me, it's like the creative passion that drives you to say what does Middle Earth look like in the Second Age, is not the same passion that does or should drive you.
I'm just going to say this. Razor blades and plumbing do not exist in this franchise or in this universe. Right. Take in mind that before you start showing nudity.
Exactly. So yeah, to me, the sensibilities that lead someone to want to go, you know, dabble in the Second Age of Middle Earth are not the same sensibilities that lead someone to go, what if we had Lord of the Rings with fucking? Like, to me, I can't bring myself to be excited for the show. I don't even think that I can bring myself to watch it. It's one of those things. It's like after you've been burned, you know, after the shit with Star Wars, after watching Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and seeing how bullshit that was, and wishing to God I didn't fucking expose my eyes to that. I'm like, do I really want to subject myself to this TV show, even for the sake of, you know, reviews and videos and the views that may or may not come with it? Do I want to subject myself to watching one of my other most beloved franchises be completely shat upon? And I don't think I do. I think that it was easier in a way with Star Wars.
Anna, did you really have to go there? Yes, I did. People can give Quentin Tarantino shit for whatever. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all the stuff that he showed, he made all of the actresses not shave underneath their arms because he said it's not historically accurate. Think about that. Somebody says, oh, we're going to have nudity in Lord of the Rings and rape and violence. There's no showers and there's no razor blades or soap. Maybe the elves might have soap. Maybe the rich people have soap. Think about that. I don't want to see those people naked.
Yep. I want to see that grungy nastiness. Breezy Bird said, Wicked Steel, I put this on to read. Ventress had psychometry used it in Dark Disciple. In Dark Discipline. I don't know who is Ventress?
Ventress was, she's in the Clone Wars, but she's the same species as Darth Maul.
Okay.
But,
okay, I know who this character is.
Dooku's apprentice.
Gotcha. I do know who this character is now. But I did not know that was a thing.
I believe that book came out after Timothy Zahn's books, though. I'm not entirely sure. They can correct me in the chat.
True story. And you know they fucking will. Whether you ask them to or not. Oh, we love you, chat. And that's what I love. Actually, it's one of the great things when you're on a live stream. You're like, I don't have to worry about Googling this thing because somebody in the chat will know the answer. Breezy Bird says celebs did a naked ad for mail-in ballots. I heard this.
Yeah, and they're not attractive celebrities either.
According to Anna, it's not the pretty ones. Anna, I do have some disparate tastes at points. So
they're all old. Nobody's under 45 years old.
That's upsetting. It's honestly a deal breaker. Crack Croc says Jeff is not a piece of meat. I assume you're probably defending Jeff Bezos' honor that we're impugning at present. But my Jeff is a wonderful human being, but for sure a big juicy piece of meat as well. So.
Hey! if I was single, I would totally marry Jeff Bezos. He's got $23 billion. No, he's the richest man in the world, and he's got the right to Lord of the Rings.
He is on track to be the world's first trillionaire in like the next 5 years. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I would marry him. What Cecil was showing a picture of him, he's like, "This is the most attractive man in the world." Think about that.
Hooray! Hooray, indeed.
And his ex-wife is the richest woman in the world.
Adam Wofford says there's force healing and force regeneration, two different force powers. Both take decades to learn and more decades to master. Right? Yep. No argument here. 100%. And then Wolf Spain Double O, thank you for the super chats. I feel like George R. R. Martin may hate this show as it's clear they are adapting his work, but he has too much respect for Tolkien. I bet he will. I bet he fucking will. You know, because I think it's like, why are you doing this when Netflix already greenlit like at least one Game of Thrones spinoff, which may or may not ever happen, but like Netflix is on board to do why? It's because Amazon wants to cash in on this thing. Netflix has the Game of Thrones rights, so Amazon wants to fucking cash in on the money from Game of Thrones. Well, how do we do it? Well, we own the rights to Lord of the Rings. What if we just did Lord of the Rings but with vaginas? Like, no, don't. Lord of the Rings does not need more vaginas. It just doesn't. It's one of those things. It's like when people want to go to have their woke conversations about making stuff better by this and that. Are you really going to make Lord of the Rings better by adding more female characters, by making some of them randomly different shades of, skin colors and whatnot? You're not. You're fucking not. Because the thing is that not every fucking piece of entertainment needs to have identity politics and diversity as their bottom line. That doesn't have to be what all this shit is about. It does not have to. There is people just, this is just to me, is people just not understanding what Lord of the Rings is, not appreciating the era that the books came from when writing a masterpiece fucking meant something. Even the era that the films came from, when creating a masterpiece of that level meant something. When creating a fantasy movie that can capture the attention of the masses and win Best Picture meant something. Meant you were doing something different than everyone else was.
No, remember when the Oscars, when Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King came out, and I just remember like some people that had a foreign film, they're like, we're just so happy that Lord of the Rings wasn't in this category. I will never forget that. I remember them winning everything, and then I remember those people saying, I don't remember anyone else's speeches, I just remember them and them saying, we're like, and it was a joke, because they're like, we're just so glad that Lord of the Rings wasn't in this category.
That's fucking,
and I think it's because they won for best foreign film, and even though Lord of the Rings was shot in New Zealand, they did shooting in America too, which disqualified it from foreign film or something.
It was distributed by an American company.
Okay, so there we go. So that's why they're like, we were so grateful it's not in this category.
I think that's the primary thing. I think for the Oscars, it's your primary country, like your country of origin in terms of the distribution, not necessarily where it was shot or like the directors, the producers, stuff like that. It's comes down to like where your center of distribution is, and that is the U.S. But this shit just doesn't. It's the thing. It's like it shouldn't surprise anybody. We live in an age where nothing is precious and nothing is sacred. But it's like, God, this was the one thing. Like, couldn't you have let one if you were gonna pick any part of nerd culture to leave sacred, why couldn't it have been fucking this one? This is fun. I like how our super chats keep ping ponging between there's two here. Got it. I'm gonna keep ping ponging between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars now, because Adam Offord says when Luke heals Mara Jade, it's after he and Leia fought the clone of the Emperor in Two Towers. Aragorn said he was 85 because in the earlier part. Oh, and more Lord of the Rings.
I'm talking about. No, he says he's 86.
86, yeah, but
no, I'm talking about the scene specifically. I know it because this is my favorite damn Star Wars EU book. It's when Luke and Mara they just said deuces to Childs of Winds. They're in the underground part of the stronghold where the Hand of Thrawn is, and they haven't run into the Chiss yet. They're about to, but he has to put her unconscious so that way he could heal her because she got shot. And it's the first time they kiss, and he realizes that he loves her, and he has to force heal her. I'm not talking about the Thrawn trilogy. I'm talking about the duology, which takes place 10 years after the trilogy.
I see. I didn't know all these things, but now I do. For the Lord of the Rings one, did he mention it in the 2 hours in the movie? I believe it could be in. I don't remember where.
It's when they're going to.
Well, I know when they do it in the movies. I didn't think it was in the. I didn't think it was in that scene that this person's talking about where he's singing about the Prince and the Elven Princess. It's when it's when he's talking about having fought with Theoden, like, oh, you knew my father in this, and I fought with him in this war. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, she freaks out. She's like, that has to make you this old. And he tells her 86. Yeah. It's a great scene. Fun little scene. Thank you, Adam Wofford, for the super chat and for the
did you know when they were filming The Mountain Between Us, Kate, the director that filmed that, he'd never filmed a sex scene before. And so when they went to have like Kate Winslet and Idris Elba have the sex scene, she's like, "You've never done this before." And he's like, "No." And Kate Winslet actually directed it because she's like, "All right, I've done this before. You do this, you shoot this, you shoot this." And then Idris Elba was like, "All right, I'm done with all of that. You have to keep your socks on." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." She thought it was like, "Oh, he doesn't like feet." And he's like, "No, I love feet." So Idris Elba has a foot fetish.
Oh my god! So funny and weird.
I was actually thinking this while you were talking. It's like you can have a sex scene and not show anything. And so did you ever watch Underworld?
I've seen it on TV and shit.
Okay, me and my family, we loved watching Underworld. And so I believe it's the third one is when they have the sex scene. And so they're naked, but I don't even think you see his butt. Like you don't see anything. It's like very romantic the way they shoot it.
Uh-huh.
That it's like, so yeah, it's possible to do that, to have that. But then again, kids, it's like, then you ask mom and dad, why are they doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's according to Jeffrey Turner, he says Eric runs 87. I thought he said 86.
He said 67 in the movie. Do I need to go pull this up? I'll mute myself and I'll go pull it up.
Right. Miss Dyslexia, you just said 67. 86 is what you read it. But yeah, I swear to God it's 86 as well, but I thought I misspoke and said 87 earlier too, so maybe I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm pretty sure it's 86. That's 86.
No, I thought he said 67.
86. Not six. Hold on. You were saying 86 before.
I thought I said 67. Okay,
No.
I don't remember. I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to fucking listen to this damn scene.
I'm saying 86. All right. I'm saying 86. Anna's saying 67. It's definitely not 67. It's definitely in the 80s. But I thought it was 86, but it could be 87. And Jeffrey Turner also says in Lord of the Rings 1981, Galadriel nude in a lake. Fair. I have never seen the animated ones. So I love the animated Hobbit. Different people entirely. Love that version so much. Never seen the animated Lord of the Rings ones. Heard mixed things. So, I think Anna's just like legit gone. She's like, I'm going to go watch this right now and report back. I'll keep reading the article after we catch up with Super Jets. Adam Wolford says in the Dark Empire books, which was after the Thrawn trilogy, a few years before the Hand of Thrawn when Leia had finished her training. So there we go. We're all on the same page now with that. I'll read that again, Adam Wolford, when just to make sure, because I don't know the EU stuff, so I'm going between you two to get my information. So I'll read the one again when Anna comes back to confirm, and or just so she hears it. Since I know that was the dialogue you guys were having, so I want to make sure she hears that as well. Also, if you're just joining us, make sure you press the like button, and please consider if you can give. That's amazing. If you can't give, then sharing it helps just as much. My cat is having some medical problems, and so there's my GoFundMe link. You can see. I don't know. You can do stuff. So I actually have. Oh, we've raised $25 already. So thank you so much. Michael Roth. I don't know if you're watching right now or not, but thank you very much for the contribution. I so appreciate that. But yes, Will Judge reads Lando. Anyway, I did notice that there were 87 people watching as we were having the argument over 87 versus 86 versus 67. So hooray! We'll find that out. But I'm diving back into the article for a little bit while Anna is doing the research. So this article continues. This might be a singularly surprising or even upsetting concept to present Tolkien fans. If I were to address this reality to Star Wars or Harry Potter or even Miyazaki fandom, it would raise eyebrows or outright alarm. But gather around the campfire and hear my tremulous words. Prepare for a newly sexualized version of your favorite fantasy world. No, I don't want to. It's the equivalent of saying, get ready to watch Anakin and Padme do something on screen that will forever alter the way you see Star Wars. Sorry about the sand. It gets everywhere. Oh, no. Is this a real lightning rod issue? Depends on your temperament. I have to be really careful. I already like the tone this person's taking in this discussion. I do really care about presumed gatekeeping, which is not my intention or any semblance of that. I just want this discussion way out in the open. Let's get to the heart of this because it is a thing now. Well put. Very well put. Because I think it's an important thing to note is like when we're having this discussion about Tolkien, it's not about shaming somebody who's okay with oh shit. I'm retarded.
I'm back. Okay, it's 87.
Adam Walker says Anna's right, he is 87. Okay.
Thank you.
80, except you're not right, because that's not what you said. You said 67.
Didn't you say I was saying 87 earlier and I had a mind part?
I said 87. The first. I
don't remember what I said, but the right answer now is 87 because I went back and I watched the scene.
So you said 86. Okay. Which is close too. So I'll take that your original one. I'm going to blame dyslexia on the 67. And
all right.
And we'll say we were both pretty much right. And Adam Wofford just
old. There you go.
Was just sent another one. I want to make sure you heard this one since this was you guys know the EU stuff and more than I do. Adam Wofford in the Dark Empire books, which was after Thrawn trilogy and a few years before the Hand of Thrawn, when Leia has finished her training. I guess that's when the
I know it's the Emperor one.
So okay.
Where Emperor's a clone.
I know you know and he knows you know and whatnot and all that. I was just gonna figure to make sure you heard the EU chat since reading that can't say anything more than okay. But you get the article a little bit, just sort of the preliminary stuff where the writer's kind of talking about why this is happening. He says, it is needful to discuss and understand those qualities of Tolkien's work that are most important to us. Fair to say we have a worldwide multi-generational scholarly and fan community that shares some great common denominators of what fidelity means in an adaptation of Tolkien. Thankfully, we have shared voices. If we shout from the rooftops collectively, Amazon Studios might perchance just listen. So I love this approach. I love this attitude. This is very much like the beginning of the fandom menace. We all came together to collectively say this is unacceptable in our Star Wars films. It's very much the tenor of that. We know things change over time and whatnot, but yes. So, all right. Here's your trigger. I won't read the trigger warning because none of us here care. Amazon's approach. Will there be sex on screen? Fact check. We can confirm Amazon Studios has hired Jennifer Ward-Leland, a well-known New Zealand intimacy coordinator for the Lord of the Rings production. The only Amazon show in New Zealand is Lord of the Rings, a production so overwhelmingly large that Auckland film unions report that over 80% of all local production crew are working on it, leaving no crew for other TV shows. That's kind of obnoxious. It should be known that instead of clearly stating to be on Lord of the Rings, Miss Ward-Leland's official site declares the acronym for Untitled Amazon Project, UAP, is listed in upcoming projects, first reported on Night's Edge Media and other sites. We know for sure Amazon's UAP is the catch-all working title for LOTR. Remember how Jamboree and Little Rivers, blah, for Lord. Yes. So, but how much nudity is Amazon considering? Will there be group nudity? Fact check. Rumor. An open casting call for background extras comfortable with nudity with a production code of jazz. We have seen other casting notices that may apply to Lord of the Rings using code word jazz. For interesting looking actors and horse riding. Just how many naked extras? Hold on. For do you need for a classy romantic lovemaking scene? It's a very good thing. So here's some of the screenshots. It's unfortunate.
All I'm saying though, I identify as a hobbit. I should be allowed to be a non-nude, fully costumed extra in the background.
Absolutely. I still am puzzling my scratching my head as to what in this, because you're also going interesting looks. Okay, so we're not talking about what I suggest, which is maybe a band of elves that happen to be nudists. You're talking about if you're like, we want interesting looks who are willing to be naked in the background, you're going for some sort of orgy or freak show or weird shit.
Yeah, this is what I said. I'm like, it's one thing to have like a brothel, and you know what that is. But even in movies in the Old West, the women are all wearing like corsets and like they're dressed very different than the women that are walking around, just running errands and stuff.
This to me is leaning into some of the weakest elements too of Game of Thrones show, which I've always said it seems like where we wasted fucking 20 minutes in the brothel with Littlefinger in one of the earlier seasons and shit. Or maybe it was one of the last times we see his ass in fucking King's Landing and he's at a brothel and all that shit. And they're walking around, it's like nudity, everyone's just leaning into that gratuitous sex. I hated that scene. I fucking hated that scene because it didn't serve the plot at all. It didn't do anything special. Like having all the graphic nudity and it didn't do anything special to develop Littlefinger's character. And the way that shit was handled, honestly, the way that most of with a couple of notable exceptions, the way that the nudity and the sex was handled in the books is way more tasteful than it was even handled in the show. So you're already talking about a show that's leaned into this very, American Hollywood ideal of like sex and violence. That's already pushing it further than it is in the original source material, and then applying it to source material that it's even further off base from. It's like, what are you fucking thinking? But anyway, we carry on. Killing civilians dug deep while reflecting on some of our earlier reporting, blah, blah, blah. And then we learn nudity in certain roles is officially asked for. Okay, so...
what if they have it where it's like you have to be naked and they like paint your body gold because you're some kind of like... I don't know, you're some kind of mystical creature, but then they they digitally remove like your bits.
You don't need an intimacy coordinator for that.
Yeah.
Because they still wouldn't, they would have you just wear something skin tight over your bits anyway and just paint that too and then Photoshop it to be smoother if they need to, or if not Photoshop, but use, go in post and make and smooth out the edges if they need to. So if you were doing body paint, full body paint, you would not need an intimacy coordinator. Will characters be sexified that were also, you would specifically specify that in the casting call. You wouldn't have an open casting call for background that was going to be in full body paint without specifying that because one of the things, like when actors have on their resumes a whole host of like weird shit of like things we are and aren't willing to do. I've had to go like do these lists on like some of our casting sites before and be like, willing to do nudity, not willing to do nudity, willing to eat dairy is one of them, willing to eat meat, willing to be do scenes with animals, do topless, do same-sex kissing, do kissing, do opposite sex kissing, et cetera, like all the things. So something like that, willing to wear full body paint, would be right in the casting description. They wouldn't even do a casting call without putting that in the description. Fun little ins and outs. I should do that one day for a stream. I should collect like the weirdest casting calls I find and read them. Will characters be sexified that weren't in Tolkien's book? Fact check, unknown. The precise story they're telling is unknown at the time of the Second Age, as is the time within the Second Age wherein it's all set. Don't know what's in the scripts, their content, nor what proper characters are associated with already established cast members. We do know who plays a handful of the leads, Galadriel and Elrond, with best guest work. We follow these actors on Instagram, but we don't know exactly who this Tyra character is because Tolkien never named one. We surely don't know who's involved in scenes of nudity / sexuality. Debate is open now on where that would be necessary in the grand story of Numenor or in the Elven Smiths of whatever. Okay, all the fun things. Elven Smiths of Region, or what we call the Cosmo Doom Pre-Balrog Glory. Speak, friend, and enter. They're using water tanks. Okay. A stunt performer was injured filming scenes underwater, and she has thankfully recovered. Possibly in
Mermaid.
Being flooded and ruinous. Catastrophe. Yes, quite possible. Okay, cool. So underwater scenes depicting naked people swimming. We just don't know. How Tolkien presented sexualized content. He simply didn't. Tolkien was stupid uber Catholic. In his own words to his publisher, he expressed his desire for the overall legendarium to be presented as high, purged of the gross. That's from his famous Letter 131. I'll get back to it in a bit. He did not write stories in a manner of George R.R. Martin, although the inverse is often true. The word rape does not appear in The Hobbit, and only once in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and even then does not reference a person, but a geographical place. Gondor is in the sack or pillage. So the rape of Gondor. I remember that from the books. I think it's the name of a chapter in the book, The Rape of Gondor. There are a few notable instances of non-sexual nudity mentioned in Lord of the Rings itself. The Hobbit's bath in Crick Hollow. Yep, they're running naked through the grass to clear their hearts and minds after their imprisonment by the Barrow-wights. That's a lovely scene that didn't make the movie. Frodo's rescued by Sam at the Tower of Cirith Ungol. Oh yeah, that's I think the closest thing we get to.
But he still kind of has his pants on.
I would say we get. I think we get implied nudity in Return of the King with that scene. Because there's a line where like Sam says, "You can't have you running around Mordor and not put your whatever is your your nakedness." And in the books, he is naked in that scene, but it's completely non-sexual.
Yeah,
obviously. So, yep. But yeah. So this is. I'm gonna see if there's any more details in details. This is really interesting. I'm gonna just drop the link for this thing in the chat if you guys want to read this discussion. It gets really, really in depth about how Tolkien writes. Notice how he has connected legendarium with words like large and cosmogonic, splendor, elusive beauty, majestic, steeped in poetry. Was really a high purge of the gross. This is how he describes his work. He never uses words like scatological, salacious, sexually charged, tumescent, steeped in carnality, or debauched. So you know the point I'm driving. I don't even feel like I'm being subtle anymore. You're not. So this is a really this. I'm going to read this in its entirety later. I won't do it on the stream because I think there's not so much for us to talk about in it because it's already someone's thought out.
Look at how juicy my fingers are right now.
Oh my god, you crack
Look
me
at
up.
how like thick the layer of Cheeto dust is.
Ooh, spitballs. It looks like you painted your nails on the wrong side. So I will though. Did I do it already, or did I just say I was going to do it? All right, so I'm going to drop this link in the chat because it's a really great in-depth sort of analysis of why this writer and a lot of us as well are not pleased with this direction for Lord of the Rings and why it's just so fun. The thing is, it's not even guesswork. Tolkien's been dead for however many years, but it's not guesswork. You have this Letter 131, right? You have this material. You have the things that Tolkien wrote about his work. You have the way his work has been handled before. When Christopher Tolkien was still very much in, I'll say his prime was still old as shit when the genes of Tolkien's. He was still, pretty darn old when the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out, but how he was a little more in control of the estate at that time and how it was handled then. So we understand, like, it's not a mystery how J.R.R. Tolkien wanted his legacy handled or how he felt about these works. And it's just, to me, it's just a huge disservice to a wonderful, wonderful piece to ignore all of the information you have. It's just the same thing with Star Wars, the amount of source material you have to work from, the disservice you do to the original IP itself by not utilizing the material that's given to you. It's like having user tests and having a packet that has all of the information that your teacher compiled for you that's relevant to the test, lighting that on fire, and then going to the children's section of the library and hoping to find the answers. Like, that's what this shit feels like, It's like, why did you think this was going to work for you? But anyway, I don't get it. But the link is shared with you guys because I think some of you guys will find this really interesting. I'm definitely going to read this whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's obvious. Like, a lot of people use this website for all of the information on the show. And you can definitely tell, like, when, like, Lord of the Rings, like, somebody is a hardcore fan, they know everything, and then they all just compile it into a blog. But actually, you stopped at the same part where I stopped at in my video. I'm like, okay, we got everything for this thing, and now it's going on to, I even said, I was like, we'll read it on the Matriarchy.
So this is the information that I think, this is, if we could read more of it, but I feel like it would be us agreeing a lot. It'd be like, yes. So I will leave it to you guys if you'd like to continue on your own as well. We're going to ask us, how are my relationships doing? Well, you know what's up with us, so I've been better, but the boy is home. He's right here. Come on, I'm going to pick you up. Come on, sweetheart. There we go. There's a little boy. There's my little boy. So the little boy's back home from his time at the vet, and he's feeling a little more rambunctious, but it's getting close to pain pills o'clock. So, we'll finish things up here and whatnot. But obviously, my number one priority right now is taking care of my little boy. So if he looks like maybe he's getting a little agitated, so he's starting to feel the pain. He's on a nice one. He's on like an opioid. Like I don't think they're worried about controlling the substance or anything, but like they dosed it out for me. Usually they just give you like the syringe, with the fill line, and the dose and the bottle. This shit, because I guess it's that strong, they're like, yeah, dosed out your individual doses for the entire regimen that'll be on these. Here you go, in tiny individual syringes. So I'm like, all right, I ain't fucking with this shit. This is the good shit. So I don't know how much pain Lando is actually in right now or not. I just know that when I dope him, he feels fucking great. So there's that. But thank you for finding that article. I'm really excited to read it. Because this is my cup of tea. This is like the only thing I geek out about as much or more than Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. So this is my fucking forte. This is the shit where it's like, you guys get your EU stuff and things I don't know about. I'm like, fucking Lord of the Rings and who fucking married who in the beginning of the Fourth Age after Aragorn became king and shit, and how long he reigned for. I don't remember all that stuff anymore, but I have to go back. I should do another one. So I'm that nerd who like finished Return of the King and got excited to read the appendices.
See, and I'm over here like I watched the movies, and because I think I've talked to you about it, I had a very difficult time learning how to read. So when I finally was able to, well, first off, my kindergarten teacher got fired for basic child abuse because she wouldn't teach me the alphabet, and I was really small. So I started school when I was too young to start school, but I remember things that I hear. So I'm an audio learner. So if I'm paying attention and you have my attention, I'll remember what you say. And so I can recall, and it was a lot better when I was younger, like entire conversations verbatim. And so I always remembered everything. So it took a long time for them to realize, because at first they thought, oh, I was just like lazy. Like I didn't do my homework and I didn't do good on tests, but I knew the works of like, you're just a brat or like you're a rebellious child. And then I finally had a teacher that was like, no, not only can you not read, you also need glasses and you're severely dyslexic. So it was like, and so then all of a sudden, once I had a teacher that finally picked up on things and helped me, I was reading. But so I had to focus on movies when I was really young. Like that's why when I talk about Star Trek, I can't tell you a name of the episode because I watched them when I was really young. I'm like, yeah, the one with the tribbles. Obviously now I know the names of a majority of the episodes, but I would have to describe it for somebody to know. I could never read it.
Yeah. I remember I've reading is I'm very fortunate that I don't have any dyslexia or things like that, in spite of my frequent gaffes when I'm trying to speak. But what was I going to say about that? I've always had more trouble like recalling text than not necessarily though. Like there are certain things like that, like episode titles that I just could never remember. And there are even things like the first time I watched Lord of the Rings, I couldn't remember most of the characters' names. I had to go back and watch it again, multiple times before I got I'm granted there's a gajillion characters, but it took a while to get all the characters' names kind of down. So I got to try.
What was I going to say? Oh, guess what? Totally off topic. Guess what I did today?
What did you do today?
I dropped off my HK painting to be framed.
Awesome!
It was fucking expensive. And the frame was on clearance. It's so expensive getting things custom framed.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've never experienced it, but I can imagine. And that sounds...
$200, Jesse, plus tax.
Ooh, shit!
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Frame. I mean, like, it is what it is, I guess, but Jesus Christ. That's, I mean, not nearly as much as... that bill was today, but
yours was like to save the life. Mine was to buy an inanimate object to go over another inanimate object.
I was trying to think of it. I was like, what's comparable? That's more than, well, that's not more than my vet bills. But I'm like, that's about as much as I spent on Jeff's Christmas and birthday present combined. That's also because it just so happened that they were having a sale on the site on a site-wide sale that was just ending yesterday. I was like, I'm getting them both right now. So that was cool.
Speaking, what do you want for your birthday?
I don't care. Your friendship.
What do you want for your birthday?
Your love.
What do you want for your fucking birthday?
A hug.
God damn it, Jesse. I'm going to buy you booze.
Okay.
I'll buy you a shit ton of booze.
That works.
What kind do you want?
I love Guinness and whiskey and tequila and yes. Just yes. Rosetta says, give her a kick in the ass. Thanks. And I didn't read, she sent another super chat, so I want to make sure I read that one too. She says, fine, use the extra money to get a treat for Kitty from Auntie Rosetta, because I love you guys to death. Love you too, Rosetta. Rosetta just lost a kitty of her own recently, so.
Oh no.
Lost my birthday buddy, the kitty of my birthday. So she just lost one of her babies, so she definitely knows what it's like, being a fur mama, and knowing that's what, going through that shit. Obviously, you've had many, many animals, so the cycle of love and loss that goes with them.
Oh yeah, you were with me when you helped me bury one of the kittens.
Yeah, girl, it didn't make that. Such versus get Josie a pet cow. Oh, if you feel the need to give me something physical as a birthday present, anything camping related is good too. Any camping gadget, anything you could think a person would want camping is acceptable. I'm not gonna say a tent because that's just expensive. That's my family. My family this year is like, okay, if you guys want to all pitch together and get me a nice tent for camping, that's my birthday. That's what I'm gonna ask for of them. But anything you could find. I love all sorts of the fun cooking gadgets and the little things to make campfire cooking better and easier. Any fun little camping gadget kind of things that just improve your camping experience. I'm all about that. Things even things mundane things like a nice sleeping pad.
There you go.
Those are all. That's I'm in the market right now. I've been counting since doing Mount Whitney last year. I've just been counting down the days to birthdays so I can ask for certain things. So I'm like, all right, this year's gonna be crampons, and then it's gonna be the tent, and then it's gonna be that, and so anyway.
Mm-hmm. See, I decided finally, I'm like, I'm gonna do kayaking to the Hoover Dam, and then we're gonna go to the Grand Canyon, and so that is coming up. Nice. I'm very excited because I was thinking, I'm like, last year I was in Switzerland and Germany for my birthday. This year, I'm gonna do something. Everything's closed. I can go to the Grand Canyon and air quote socially distance.
I've been puzzling what I would want to do for mine, so I've got getting some ideas because my 30th is coming up.
Is Vegas still happening or no?
I don't know, but we were still planning on doing something on my birthday itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. As of right now, it's full steam ahead, but I'm very hesitant to jump the gun, to pull the trigger on it. We're in a lucky position where, because we're so freaking close, we don't have to make plans in advance. So I'm holding off on anything, I'm making anything concrete. Typically I wouldn't even make a hotel till close to the day anyway, because you get the better rates. But I've been holding off on anything concrete, just because, and that may not be the case with Star Trek Acceleration, just because I struggle to see a world in which that goes ahead as planned. But hey, who knows what's going to happen a couple months from now. Rosetta says, your birthday, sis, is with her childhood best friend, happy in the afterlife. He passed away at 5 months from liver failure. Aw, his name was Strider. So there you go. Tie into our LOTR. So yes. But yeah, words. So thank you guys so much for the kitty love. Beth just made it, but we're just getting ready to probably jump off because I'm looking at Lando and he's looking at me and he's looking like he needs something. So I'm gonna go give him some more pain medication and then try to give him some food because he seems like he's really hungry. So gotta take care of my little boy. But thank you again so much, like I said, for all the love, for the support, for a fun, wonderful stream. If you guys are able to at all, if you can share even $1. This is the link for the GoFundMe to help with Lando's medical expenses because 2020 has been a year. It has not been easy financially for me. And I, as much as I always try to keep something extra for the cats, I just spent a bunch of money on Shit Pancake because he has his chronic ear infection. So I just dropped a few hundred on him, and that was a big chunk of.
He still has that damn ear infection?
It comes and goes, but he every few months or so it flares up badly, and I can't get it under control on my own, so I've had to go get it flushed and this and that. But the particular doctor that we're seeing right now is really good. He's like really like solid up wanting to follow up on his care and stuff. So he actually he came in for a follow up today with Lando. He was scheduled for that. So but
wow.
Yeah. So stinky little ear, and that should be a cake. And
Tulip has stinky ears, but that's just because there's yeast in them.
Yeah. If you ever want tips for yeast infections in dogs, let me know, because one of our newfies had a really, really bad one. And my mom, I can't remember what she did, but she finally, nothing she did would get it to go away. She could get it like better, but she couldn't get it to go away. But she finally figured out something that made it go away entirely. So I'll ask her.
Okay.
If you want some.
Was it in the ears or in their feet?
He had it in his ears, and then he also would get it on his chest. Because of on his belly. That was later on after he had a surgery actually. Rosetta says, don't forget to call my hubby on your joint birthday, because not only did I share a birthday with her kitty cat, I share with her husband as well. So
oh, how funny.
Yeah,
what a small world.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Beth, it's November 28th. So, and Anna's is
Halloween.
So that's right around Jeff's too. Jeff's is just a little bit before Anna's. So you guys
Jeff is like coming up. What is Jeff gonna do for his birthday? We're talking about our birthdays. Yours is like a month away. Mine's like 3 weeks away. Jeff's is like next week, right? Or this week?
His mom's coming out. His mom's coming next Friday. And she'll be here.
How exciting.
Yeah. So the 21st for Jeff. And so she'll be here. So we'll be, she wants to cook for us and do all this stuff and like take care of us. And,
have fun cleaning.
So we'll get them. Thanks.
You know what it's like when a mom comes over. It doesn't matter if like you can do like the white glove test. They still can find something.
And Jeff was joking. It was funny too. He's like, for all the people, because his mom is not a neat freak. And so he joked. He was like, for all the people to worry about getting shit in order with, it's like the last one you think of. But even so, it's, of course, we're still going to do it, even if she's not going to like nitpick over dirt and there'll be something. But yeah, we're still going to stress over it just the same way, whether or not she's going to nitpick and whatnot. My mom, as funny as my mom in her house at home is like the super neat freak. She's like, everything's got to be in its place, all this stuff, whatever. When she came to my place, when she came to visit the one time she stayed here, I had done that. I had done the fucking dust, the window sills, the edges, on like the tops part of the blinds, that I haven't fucking touched since I moved in here and shit like that. So when she came, she actually was totally chill about it. She's like, oh, it looks great, honey, wonderful, blah. When my dad came to visit, he didn't even stay here because he's allergic to cats, so he stayed in a hotel. But he came in for a little bit. He fucking got on my case. It was spotless. He didn't get on my case because it was spotless. He got on my case because he's like, I'm sure it's not like this all the time. Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
His dad they should have never let go. Oh, you're a messy person. So I'm like, thanks, Dad. I know all the times we fought over how messy my room was and how you couldn't come in to give me a kiss goodnight because there was nowhere to walk. So I had to make a path for you, even though it was clear there was a path there. And he was like, I'm going to trip over. I'm like, there's a fucking path for you, Dad. He's like, anyway. Fucking childhood. It was great. That's how it was. Though. My room was always a disaster, and so I'd have to have my dad until I moved out of the house. Every single night before I went to bed, or before he went. As I got older, before he went to bed, because he was going to bed before I did. He would come into my room, and when I was little, he would say goodnight to his smart, pretty little girl. And when I got older, he would call me smart, pretty big girl, and he would give me a kiss goodnight every single night. And it's like straight up, until forever. As long, I don't remember a time. I don't remember him not doing it while I was home, even through teenage years and shit like that. But I do remember that being a point of contention in my teenage years of needing.
I forgot. How old are your parents?
My mom's 69.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my dad's 4 years. My dad's 65. So.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Rosetta says, I expect attention and adoration from you and Jeff and the rest on my birthday this December, you crazy girly. Well, fortunately for us, our birthdays are first. So you will receive the proportionate amount of attention and adoration on your birthday that you heap upon us on ours. So the more love, attention, and adoration you give us on our special days, the more is coming back to you. So if you want to hedge your bets, you better fucking treat us like we're gods. I love going back and forth with Meta. She's fun. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up.
Before we go, can we look at my art channel?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look there. I was gonna ask before we wrapped up, is there anything else you want to take a look at or talk about?
Yeah. Let's I'm not good at like pimping out myself. I'm great at pimping out Cecil. But so guys, I have a new art channel because YouTube not only hates my channel, my main, that Star Wars Girl channel now. It will not send notifications to anyone. But so I decided, even though when I do art videos, they don't get like any views because YouTube's like, hey, fuck you. People like this. There's like 99.9% approval on this. Fuck you. We're going to shadow ban it. So I created a separate art channel just for my art. So it's all in one place. So I'm going to be, right now I'm doing Inktober, as you can see here. And I'm going to put the link for it in the chat. So I'm going to do Inktober, so that's 31 days of me posting a drawing video every single day, and then I post it on Instagram as well. But I'm going to be re-uploading and revamping my old art videos and posting them on this channel. For Inktober, I want to keep them all short. Like, none of them are old. Like, this one is the longest one, 2 minutes and 59 seconds. So they're very fast. They're with music. Some of my other art videos will have...
What's that track that you're using for those? Because it straight up sounds like one of the pieces of music they use in the Fight Club DVD menu.
I went on, I just Googled in YouTube and I said remixed heavy metal. And then I went down this rabbit hole of this is video game soundtracks that somebody tweaked with, so that way it does not get hit by the YouTube algorithm. And so I recorded like 5 minutes of the opening of one, and I just have the same track on every single video. I have no idea what it is. I'm like, I like this music. Record. After hours of searching, I'm like, this is good. It does the job. Record, download, done.
So for anyone else in the chat, though, who has spent time of their life sitting with the Fight Club DVD menu up for some reason, not playing it, and hearing it go over and over between the into the it sounds, it's that part of it. It's
a video game with the dragon. I don't know.
It also sounds like that it's the same music that was a little bit in the opening credits for Fight Club too. But seriously, like at some point, turn on Fight Club. And tell me just turn on the opening credits because that's where the music is.
Okay. I'll listen to it after.
Yeah, not right now. Just at some point, turn on the opening credits and tell me I'm just fucking. You'll hear it. Like it sounds so much like it. It makes me excited. I was like, I love the way it sounds, and I love it because I love Fight Club. So
yeah, I wanted to get people pumped because usually people put like really relaxing music. I'm like, no, fuck that. We're drawing orcs. We're fucking shit up. Let's get pumped. But do you want to watch one? Which one?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Which one?
I've seen days 1 through 3, so I'm down. Let me see which
4, 5, 6, or 7. Everyone in the chat, let me know. Do you guys want to watch 4, 5, 6, or 7?
My pick is 5 because the detail and the color looks really cool on that one.
Actually, Bella picked out the color in that. I asked her, like, what colors do you want? And I was like, what color do you want the dragon egg to be? And she just looked at me like I'm crazy. Like, she's like, red. Duh.
Amazing. Oh, very delightful. Yeah, that's my vote. But someone, let's say Alejandro Cervantes is 4. And anything else? Well,
I can do 5.
I've got the tiebreaker. 5 it is.
Okay. Do you want? I don't think it's going to have sound on, so I'll just. Or I'm not sharing sound. I don't think. Am I?
Okay. I didn't hear yet, so I don't know.
I muted it. Let me get the tab so that way it's on. Okay, here we go.
So I can rock out to my sound.
Yeah. Okay, you guys ready? Well, you can leave this on just so we can talk.
I mean, we can still talk. We're still in it. I just figured we'd watch. I was jamming out to the music, but I figured we would we give the bigger screen to the visuals. But yeah, no, we definitely still talk. But yeah, I was just walking out. Nah, this is so fun for me. This is great, guys. If you are in an any form of altered, non-sober state, these are like so fun to watch. Like I think I left that as a comment on one of those too. I really think you should like in the end of this, you should do a like master compilation of all of them in a row, because there are people who will totally just veg out for them. Or if you did a master compilation, you pick like different, like really chill music to go by, like some lo-fi music or some shit like that, or even more rock, like whatever it is. It would work as like a great, like party background kind of thing. You know, people like throw up YouTube on their TV for a little bit of sound, a little bit of something to see in the background. Your videos would be so great for that, because they're just very visually appealing. They're very easy to watch. They're very gratifying to watch. So it's like the perfect thing for the parties, where you have the people sitting in the corner who don't want to socialize and want to just stare at the screen will be totally into it. The people who are actually socializing will be like, oh, that's neat. You know, it's like slam dunk. So that's what I think personally.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And I was planning on doing like a compilation of all of them at the end. So like Inktober 2020, and just have every single one, like here's day 1, here's day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, all the way to 31.
Yeah, I think you should do that. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and this is just my little thing at the end. Like, go follow me here. This is all the stuff. Thank you for watching.
I love your little avatar thing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we do have another super chat from Diego Flores. It says, Anna, there is a rumor in the Warhammer community. If you send Cavill pics and they are 40K related, he answers and talks with you.
Where the hell do I send these pictures to?
Like, are we talking Instagram, or are we talking, just like
I don't think he's going to talk to me. But here's the thing. People have been playing World of Warcraft with him, and they don't know it's him. How do I mess on Instagram? So if I post myself painting.
Yeah, he's on Instagram. Well,
okay, well, I can't do that because it'll show in the timeline that I tagged him in me orgasming over him building a PC. So I can't do that because then it'll show up in our history thread.
Well, the thing is, he's not necessarily gonna. You could always go back and untag him. So
no, I put it in a story and I've like did at him. Actually, you know what? I think you can go and delete past messages, and so it won't show up.
There you go.
There's a potential though. He saw it and he thinks I'm a total creeper.
What are the odds that he remembered that it's like if he saw another post from you? And of Warhammer related, what are the odds that he goes, that Star Wars girl, that sounds familiar, huh? Isn't that girl who made that thirsty video? He's not going to connect the dots on that. It's going to be whatever. It'll be fine. I think.
I'm going to delete it. Oh no, it says deleting removes the conversation from your inbox, but no one else's inbox. God damn it. How do I?
Well, hold on though. If you delete it though, it won't remove the conversation. It will remove what we'll only be able to see though is Anna shared, or that Star Wars girl shared her story.
You have to go into the exact message and delete it from there.
But the thing is, the story is gone though. So if he tries to go and click on the story, he just won't be able to. It just won't show up. I've had that happen to me before, where people share this. Like, I get a thing where it's like, oh, you mentioned someone's story, but by the time I've gone to see it, they've deleted the story, so it still tells me so and so mentioned you in their story, but I can't see it anymore. So
okay. Well, too late because I deleted it, but
that's good. That should be.
All he's got to do is, excuse me, if that did happen, he just follows the link to my channel, and then he's gonna see.
He's not.
My uterus exploded over watching Henry Cavill build a PC.
Why would he follow that up? He's not necessarily going to follow the link at all. He's probably just going to go, oh, cool Warhammer person, and talk to you on the basis of that. He probably has the savviness to know. Look, see, Diego Flores says it's Henry Cavill. He's too sweet to think like that. Be confident, Anna. I believe in you.
I'm not confident. I'm a total creeper, and I know it. And people comment on my video like, you're fucking disgusting, you're creepy. And I'm like, I know. I'm completely aware of how creepy I am about this. And if I was like super, super old, this wouldn't be the same kind of story. It would be like a scene from Misery. But
multiple kinds of people in this world, right? There are the people, and we've experienced those, the ones who get an obsession. They want to thirst over their obsession 24/7, and they want to try to fucking contact you. They want you to know about it. They want you to hear about it. They want to fucking reach you. These are the kind of people who like stalk celebrities and all that shit, you know, and want to be at every signing, get everything signed and all that crap. And then there are people like you or I who can acknowledge, like, no, what I'm doing is creepy and weird. I would never want this person to see this or hear this.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing. Somebody said, like, I don't even think you would be able to handle being in the same room as him. And I'm like, I don't think so either. I think I would faint. And I told Cecil, I was like, if I had him sign anything, it would be my VHS of The Count of Monte Cristo. And he's like, no, Anna, no.
You're adorable, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm just way too like, I don't even think I could meet him. I'd probably just get too nervous. I wouldn't know what to say. And I like how I'm thinking right now and talking as if this is a possibility when it's never gonna happen.
Hey, never say never. It could happen. As JP from Angels in the Outfield likes to say, it could happen. And I may or may not have watched it.
What is Royborg saying? She deleted the video. I didn't delete the video.
Your Thirst video? No.
I didn't delete it. Those are all three of them are up there.
Yeah, no, she deleted just the Instagram storyboard where that's all she was deleting right now. Diego Flores says, then let's do this. I'm in the middle of a painting project. Gonna record it and send it to Henry Cavill and see what happens and give you the results. Ooh.
Okay, yes, do it. You experiment. You be the guinea pig. You let me know how that is.
But please definitely report back. I'm so excited to see where this goes.
Okay, and whenever you post it, you have to report back to one of our shows. Let us know.
Got it. This is we have to check in on the matriarchy. I feel like we have to check in on the matriarchy. So even if Diego reports to one of us before then, we've got to revisit this topic next week and make sure. So awesome. But I am going to get going because I have to pee now too, and my little kitty needs.
I have to pee as well, but I got freaking work to do. I have to send out, like, this is the worst part of it. It's like when you have to send out like a professional work email to like 50 people, and it's like, oh my God, I cannot have one single spelling or grammatical error, and I have to make sure all of my information is right and get everyone's names right.
I hear you. That sounds very stressful, and I'm glad that that's not a thing that I have to worry about.
Yeah.
I just worry about my kitty. But again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you. Make sure you sub to the Art of Anna TSWG Studios. That link is in the chat. It's also in the description, as well as that Star Wars Girl Live, which is the link you'll want if you want to catch the odd number episodes of the Matriarchy on playback. Mine are currently still primarily left public on my channel, but that may change eventually. When it is, you'll of course know. And et cetera. One more time, I will drop this link for the GoFundMe. I'm just trying to get a little bit of help with his medical bills because 2020 has been a shit year for everybody, and I just don't have the excess that I'm going to need to. I barely barely maxed out the credit card on today's visit, and don't know where I'm paying that down from yet, and we're staring down double to triple what we've already spent, in terms of the ongoing care for this kind of issue. So yeah, it's super fun. So that's the thing. But make sure you go out and subscribe to Shit Pancake the Cat. He's my lovely little boy. Make sure you're sub to all of Anna's channels. All these links are in the description except for the GoFundMe one. But I'll be posting that on Twitter and on the other places on YouTube and stuff like that. So all those things, hooray. Anna, last things you want to share with the group before we sign off on another successful episode?
Just subscribe to my art channel, guys. I'm really trying to get that going because I love doing that kind of stuff, and I know I always got requests for it on my main channel, and the way that YouTube has just been killing my channel lately, like the fact that so many people have been saying, not only on my main channel, but my live channel, like, we're not getting notifications, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then seeing the way the algorithm works for some people and then doesn't work for others, it's just driving me crazy. And so,
welcome to the last 15 months of my life.
I know, exactly. It's weird the way that the algorithm works. Like, I remember because your channel was like popping like crazy, and then all of a sudden the algorithm's like, we don't like Jesse anymore. Fuck you.
It went from growth. So the first time it ever happened, after the first year of the channel, the first 6 months, it was amazing. July, it was like, fuck you. And it killed my channel until December. And then December rolled around, got some good growth back on, going on. We had all the Captain Marvel shit, and that was great. And then that's around the same time that year, just boom, July, fucked off, and has never rebounded. Has not a single, at any single point, has rebounded in spite of, and that was months for me from July through close to the end of the year of still slogging through it every single day, putting up videos, putting videos up sometimes 5 days a week, and all that shit, and nothing changed. Hitting on the topics, taking every piece of advice from other YouTubers, and every piece of advice they gave me either did nothing or made it worse. That was the thing. The people swore by, like, oh, well, when I went away on vacation, I just scheduled uploads so that it wouldn't hurt my channel, and I still grew a whole bunch. Great. I did that for a week, went away on vacation, scheduled 3 uploads, right? Every single one of those videos did dog shit, and my channel suffered. My channel lost a ton of subscribers off of it. So it's like, what the hell?
Which doesn't make sense, because so I'm subscribed to you. I have the bell set to all. I'm subscribed to you with my live channel as well. It's set to all. I don't get a single notification when you go live or when you put out a video.
Yep. I've noticed also that's definitely been getting worse again with the live stuff, because I've noticed my overall views on my live streams have gone down by probably 75%, like a 25% shrink. So my views are about 75% of what they usually are per each show. Because that's one of the things is, like, different shows get different I get different viewership on the Matriarchy typically than I do on my High Council After Show than I do on my Thirsty Thursday show. And across the board for each of those, viewership's down about 25% on my streams, which to me tells me that. And the thing is that the real litmus test too is for why, like, is it people or is it something else? The super chats aren't going down. Those certain other metrics, the like ratio, like to dislike ratios aren't going down on anything. The quality of the comments, the amount of comments, the quantity of engagement, the engagement hasn't gone down. None of those metrics that usually indicate that your audience is displeased with your channel have changed. The only ones that have changed are the ones that indicate to me that the algorithm fucking hates me and is a dick. So, the end.
Yeah, Will is right. It does seem the more you watch a channel, the more likely you are to get a notification when it uploads. But you see, here's the thing. There's one channel that I watch religiously. That one is Dr. Pimple Popper. I have not received a single fucking notification for Dr. Pimple Popper, and I watch those videos. Yes, I know I'm a weirdo. Every single day. I get notifications for the toe bro, though. And those, like, when he removes nails, I can't watch that. But the other side, I know I'm grossing you out. The other stuff, I can't,
Oh,
pay
for YouTube Premium and you get notifications. As in, if I pay for YouTube Premium, YouTube will give me the notifications I'm looking for. Or if I pay for YouTube Premium, they will send my notifications out. Because that is bullshit. If it's the second one, if it's the kind of thing where it's like, I have to pay for YouTube Premium in order to have my notifications fairly shared. So Mike Roth, do follow up with me, please, because if that's what you mean, that's actually grounds for a lawsuit. Because that's that pay to play model, which is not cool in this type of, in art stuff. Actually, casting directors have gotten in huge trouble for doing the exact same thing. Where it places Criminal Minds for a long time. The casting director for Criminal Minds did these workshops, and everybody knew that the Criminal Minds workshop, or the workshop with this casting director, was the feeder pool for getting an audition for his show.
That's weird.
Yep, it was I actually I did an audition for him at one point. I did not like him at all.
What's his name again?
So I can't remember the name of the casting director, but he I think he got fired and changed and whatnot. Basically, he lost all that because he got busted for doing that, and everyone was like, you can't do that. But yeah, so Michael Roth, a subscriber getting him. Okay, see, that's all. The thing with that. So good, thank you, Michael Roth, because that would be really upsetting the other way around. And while I'm sure that that's the case, I'm not going to encourage anybody to get a YouTube Premium membership, because I'm not going to encourage anyone to spend money on YouTube. I don't even encourage you guys to do super chats. You have other avenues too. I've got a Patreon. I've got a PayPal me link that's right in my it's in the descriptions of my videos. Not usually the live ones, but if you find one of the made uploaded videos, the PayPal me link is right there. So there are plenty of other avenues right now. If you want to help out with Lando, we do have a funder, going for his medical bills and stuff. But I don't advocate anyone. I'm sure that is the case, Michael, and I do not advocate anyone giving YouTube any dollars that they don't have to, because fuck them. They don't treat their creators right. I really think they are just really. It's like they're clearly trying to phase YouTube into being this supplementary place for established people, established entities that want a place that gives them direct access to their fans. That's what they're turning YouTube into, and instead of being transparent about that and telling its creators and just being upfront and saying, hey, after a certain point, this tier of creator is just not going to be monetized anymore. We're going to change our monetization standards and whatnot to benefit these types of people. YouTube is still a place where anyone can host a video and whatnot, but in terms of our actual creators that get paid and whatnot, we're going to limit that thing. Be fucking transparent about it. But no, they're not. They're doing it in these shady, backhanded ways that try to force users off their platform to try to basically get people to self-curate. They're just dicking us over so that we go away. There's a term. I just read the term for this. I was reading an article about a whistleblower, but there's a term for it that basically it's exactly that. It's you create a work environment that is so hostile it forces your worker to quit.
That happened with me.
Yep. Well, yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Your other instances.
I'm fucking bitch.
But so that's what's up, and I think it's bullshit. Will Gentry, Streamlabs, is that a totally another place that people?
Oh no, yes, you can get super chats from Streamlabs if you stream through Streamlabs. People can. That's what I use when I do Twitch.
Oh, okay. I may have to look into that, and I am going to be starting a Twitch as well soon for video.
Oh yeah. Actually, Ryan and Krista helped me set up mine. I'm sure one of them, if they're free, they could help you. Ryan helped me set up Streamlabs and explain it to me, and then Krista helped me getting emojis and little special effects that Streamlabs does when you do it on Twitch. So if you ask either of them, we just set up a StreamYards link, and then they explained it to me.
Mm-hmm. Nice, cool stuff. So you'll see that from us. You'll also see me. You'll see more and more from me, and don't be surprised if you see this from a lot of other creators you know and like. We are looking always for other avenues to promote ourselves, avenues that give us a fair platform. Mr. Ellis, so you're saying we should boycott YouTube? No, because two reasons. One, first of all, I don't typically, unless I feel very, very, very strongly about something, I don't usually call for boycotts one way or the other.
It's however you guys want to spend your money.
Exactly. It's not up to me to say what you should be doing or looking at or where you want to spend your money. What I will say is rather than boycott, look for ways, because the thing is, it doesn't cost or us anything for you to come on and watch our videos. In fact, it does, help us to a certain extent. But they, whatchamacallit, it doesn't cost you anything to do that. All I'm saying about it is you don't have to boycott YouTube. You don't have to, get up in arms about it or anything like that. All I'm saying is if your creators offer you another avenue to support them, either with views or financially or anything else, investigate those avenues, because that helps us more than supporting us on YouTube, because YouTube has become a hostile environment for a lot of creators. So
yeah, and after hearing what Maddie said, I think I might play Star Wars Squadrons just to test it, because Maddie watches our shows, and she's a great supporter of all of our channels. Okay. So hearing from somebody that has never said something that it's about how words, I'm blanking because this trailer just popped up. Somebody that when they tell me no, that this game is actually good, I take their opinion, as compared to somebody that I don't know posting on Twitter, this is the bestest game ever because it's got the Varsity. It's no, I actually played this game, and aside from the story mode, the gameplay is actually really good. So yeah, I think I might give it a try and play it on Twitch.
Well, let us know. Obviously, people watching on Twitch will know, but let me know how it is and see if I decide I want to take the plunge on that or not.
It's not a unicorn hat; it's a witch hat. Oh my god.
You guys are crazy. All right, we are going to sign off though.
Yeah, because me and Jesse both have bladders that are about to explode. But see, watch this. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. And yes, it covers my face. It's a witch hat and it's got a spider on it.
And I am a God Empress. And before we get on to another tangent, God Empress out.